What's going on, people? Welcome back to Arsenal Therapy, people. Arsenal Therapy. We've got to find a way to deal with what we've watched today. And I had to bring Dan Potts in, man. You were supposed to be at the game today. Probably the best news for you when that ticket didn't come through for you. How are you, bro, after that rubbish?
Yeah, it was the best decision I made in a while. I had someone else that come up last minute, so I had to sell my ticket last minute. And do you know what? I was so glad I didn't go and travel up and travel back for that absolute dross, man. It was the worst game I've seen in a while. It's boring at the moment, and I am glad. Look, I saw it tanking down with I don't know if it was sleet, snow, rain, or a bit of all three, and I just thought, I'm so glad. And I shouldn't feel like that. And big up to
Yeah.
the away fans that did make it, yeah, because big up to them every time. And I did hear them singing as best as they could. They support as best as they
Yeah.
could. But it's very difficult to support when it's like that, Curtis. I don't even know where to start. I don't know where you want to start, bruv. But it was an absolute mess, bruv.
It's a mad one. Like we could start this show anywhere. We could start with the manager, we could start with the ownership, we could start with the transfer window, we could start with a performance today. We could literally go anywhere with it. I mean, we'll start with today. We'll start with what we've just seen. I mean, the thing that disappoints me is, as a fan, I'm open-minded enough to understand we're going to lose games sometimes or draw. I'm saying a loss. I feel like we lost. That's basically a defeat today. But when Arsenal drop points, I don't feel like we've thrown the kitchen sink at it. I haven't seen Verbruggen make 5 great saves. We've hit the post bar and they've cleared 3 off the line. I've just sat there and watched a second half that was like we were 3-0 up and just coasting through to the game on Tuesday night. I don't understand why we're so defensive minded when we go 1-0 up. And I was looking there, 1 shot on target in the second half and 3 shots off target. 1 shot on target in the second half. They had 3 on target. And yet we're supposed to be in a title challenge. For me, we're nowhere near good enough to win a title. Nowhere near. I don't think the manager's good enough. I don't think the team's good enough. I don't think the owners are good enough. We don't have a sporting director. The window's open and there's no sign of a player being bought. We're being linked, but if they were a serious club, they should have got somebody done in December and announced it within a couple of days and said, look, we got Newcastle, United, Tottenham, Villa, all these games. Somebody's got to be signed right now. So, but just in terms of today's game, what did you make of that game? We go 1-0 up. We never really looked like scoring after that. We concede a penalty and then just kind of fizzled out. What did you make of it?
Bruv, I called on my fan cam Mikel Arteta an artist because he loves to draw. He loves to draw.
He's drawing with crayons, bro.
Yeah, he is drawing with crayons. Bro, I've got to be real with you. I saw the team news and it deflated the hell out of me, that midfield. When you've got a midfield of Jorginho, Declan Rice and Marino, where's the creativity? Now, I appreciate that Odegaard is not 100% fit or well, and you can tell he weren't because, if I'm honest with you, in the last couple of days, I don't think he's too well, to be honest. In the last couple of games that I've seen him play. So that's cool. If he has to go on the bench, he's not quite ready to make it. So you put Ethan in the middle when you put Trossard and Martinelli either side of Jesus, done. But no, he doesn't do that. He tries to play Marino and Rice as the Odegaard figures. What is he doing? This is an absolute madness. And I'm going to concentrate on that trio for a minute because I thought Jorginho was horrendous today. Everything that he did on the ball was just slow, sluggish, lackluster. And I'm a fan of him when he comes in and does a job, but he wasn't doing a job today. He was doing a bad job. Then I look at Declan Rice and I really am starting to get frustrated by what Mikel Arteta is doing with this player because he's ruining him. He is a brilliant midfielder that he is trying to turn into Steven Gerrard. There is absolutely no attributes that symbolise a midfielder in the ilk of Lampard, Gerrard, even a Fabregas, David Silva, Kevin De Bruyne. So why are we trying to turn Declan Rice into that? We don't try to play Saka as centre-back, do we? We play him on the wing. So why are we trying to put Rice in an attack-minded position? When he can drive forward, he's got set pieces on him, and today he had a couple of good deliveries again. But that is not what I want to be seeing from Declan Rice. I want to be seeing Declan Rice in his best position. Then we come on to Mikel Marino. Oh, my word. What is this player, my bro? Because we spent £30 million. We spent 30 million pounds on this guy, and he is a waste man. I can't understand what he does. Now, I see a lot, right? I see a lot of passing from him, but it's a lot of passing backwards or sideways. He's a bit of a crab, and he can only go
Yeah.
sideways. He's all right. What he does apparently is he stands up top and he tries to get his bonce on it. But every time he's in the position I see, he missed a sitter today, by the way, with his left foot. I thought that was an absolute sitter from him. I don't know how he's missed that. But this is a guy, when I said, right, we get him Marino. I don't know much about him. But from what I hear, he's got physical attributes. He's quite a presence in there. He's good on the ball. He's comfortable driving forward. Apparently, he's a box-to-box, and he's got an aerial threat. I thought I could get behind some of those attributes, right? But this guy that I thought was going to be an upgrade on Granit Xhaka isn't even an upgrade on El Neni, bruv. This is a sideways and backwards player that is just a squad player, and we're trying to force him into this side. This is not a good signing, bro. Today, I heard people bigging up Calafiori. I didn't see what he did that was so great. This guy is just another one that's come in that looks uncomfortable to play at this side at the moment. He's a centre-half playing at left-back. He makes some horrendous tackles. He did some fouls, and his positioning is all over the place, mate. His positioning is mad. He doesn't get close enough. The balls would be whipped in because he's miles off his man, doesn't close them down in time. We've got Thomas Partey, who, to be fair, I didn't think was outstanding, but certainly didn't think was shambolic tonight. But he's playing right back again. Our best midfielder the other day is now back in playing right back. And people are telling me this was an 8 out of 10 window. Come on, my bro. This is an absolute disgrace, what I'm seeing out there. And Mikel Arteta, he is what Thierry Henry said. Don't lose, boys. Don't lose. It's not about go and get another goal. Don't lose. It is absolute madness that we go 1-0 up with a brilliant goal, by the way. Yeah, from Ethan Waneri. Big up to him. I think he's injured now, apparently. That's why he come off. Because I couldn't believe he come off.
No.
So that was another thing. But lastly, I could not believe that it was 26 minutes in and we're getting a booking for time wasting. Ray has taken decades to kick the ball out. We don't want to take throw-ins, corners, or free kicks quickly because calm it down. Let's try and win this 1-0. If that is the actual tactics and if that is the attitude and the mentality, then the manager has to hold a massive L because that is not what I want to be seeing. So I think everything that could have gone wrong today went pretty much wrong other than we didn't lose. I don't want to care about the penalty. I've never seen penalties given like that before, but he did miss the header and he headbutted him. So if that's a foul, then fair play. But I don't really care about the penalty in the Anthony Taylor situation. You know, Robbie, I see on AFTV is blaming the ref again. Let's just actually look at what we were doing because we didn't deserve to win that game, see. We were fucking awful, bruv. So I'm sorry. There ain't nothing about that game that I looked at and thought, oh, do you know what? Yeah, I could see some nice play. I saw some unbelievable tactics. Trossard, stinker. Absolute stinker. Martinelli, come on. What did he do? Jesus, meh. A bit of a meh performance. Erdegaard, meh. And look at the state of our bench, by the way. If anyone fancies a left back, we've got 5 of them on our bench. If anyone fancies a left back,
there's no strikers there. There's no creative midfielders. There's no wingers. We've got 4 left backs.
Brother, I mean, unless you want to bring Tierney or Zinchenko on to win a game, you're screwed in that bench, mate. Oh, brother.
Listen, do you know what I'm saying, bro? Is like, if you're going to play 1-0 football and stink out the place, you've got to be successful. If you win the league playing like that, we'll all fall back and go, it's not pretty, but we've won the league. But if you play like that and don't win, you're giving us nothing. You're not giving us the results and you're not giving us the entertainment. And to me, Arsenal are a team that it's in our tradition, especially in the last 20 years. We play entertaining football. We're the English club that play like that. And it doesn't make sense to me because the last 2 years you've played on the front foot, scored a lot of goals. Now all of a sudden you want this defensive, we'll protect the lead rather than scoring the second goal. You're frightened to go for it. And I think Arteta has lost his way. I think he's lost his way. I think something went wrong in the summer at this club. I don't know what it was. And I feel like he's almost part of a cover-up. I think the owners said, look, you spent 200 million last summer. We can't do that this summer. We'll give you 100 mil, but you've got to sell 100 million's worth of players. And because you're not happy with that, to compensate for that, we're going to give you a new deal. I'm going to move you up from 8.5 million to 15 million a season. And we're going to give you 3 years. We're going to fall back. We'll be in America. You ain't really going to see us. And just see what you can do with these 2 or 3 players that you can buy. And then Edu's probably looked at it and gone, do you know what? We're signing players that I don't even want, and I'm getting blamed for it. And Forest are offering me treble my wages, and I can run 3 clubs. And also, I'm losing my power here because Garlic and Tim Lewis and Arteta are running the show, and I'm sitting here feeling redundant. And I think now Arteta is just putting up with what he was given, but he's not going to tell us the truth because he said things in the summer like, oh, they're the best owners. They're the hungriest owners, which were like Arsene Wenger comments that we used to get when it felt like he was protecting the ownership. When he said that, he said, Stan and Josh are the hungriest sports people I've ever met. I've never seen ownership like it. The level of support they give you, that's something incredible. That picture almost goes perfectly with what he's saying. You know what I mean? You don't even believe what you're saying, bro.
Word. I mean,
that
listen,
comment,
if Stan and Josh are the hungriest sports people he's ever met in sports ownership, he needs to start branching away from some of the sports he's watching because I tell you this now, they ain't. Yeah, they just ain't. Stan and Josh Kroenke are 2 of the biggest problems at this club, unfortunately, and people don't like to hear it. They've got no ambition. They lack serious ambition, which is why in the best part of 20 years, they've spent £20 million every year of their own money on average. 200 million of their own money has gone in 20 years. And what do they won with that? A handful of FA Cups. Let's be real. We should not be in phase 5, because I'm going to say it, because that's what everyone says we're in the process. Over £700 million spent with this manager who's had every single player he wants. And we've got 4 or 5 players that we rated the club that he's brought in. The other players we rate, by the way, are Saka, Martinelli, Saliba, all bought by Unai Emery or come through the system. So when people say to me, oh my God, this guy has completely revamped and changed this squad, we're in love with this squad. There's quite a lot of these squad players I'm not in love with because I certainly ain't in love with the backup goalkeeper. I ain't in love with all of our left backs. I ain't in love with our midfield right now. It looks an absolute disgrace. And I certainly ain't in love with the fact that this guy has had 6th season now. He's an Arsenal manager and he still ain't bought me a number 9 striker to replace Aubameyang. Because right now, I would have Aubameyang and Lacazette back right now at the age of 36, whatever they are, because they're better than what we've got. Because I'd rather bring Aubameyang and Lacazette on today than I would Zinchenko, Kieran Tierney, or what's his name? The other, Kivior. And let's be real. I've got to be real with you, bro. The left-back situation, I've seen... It's not fixed. And I've seen performances this season from Kieran Tierney and Miles Lewis-Skelly, and it tells me one thing. They're the 2 best left-backs at the club. Yeah. Because their performances are better than the rubbish I've seen from some of the others. And our other one at left-back is the one who plays right-back, Timber. Everyone else has been a shambles. So I'm sorry, man. I'm not inspired. I don't think that Marino and Calafiori were anywhere near enough to get us across the line. Raheem Sterling was a joke. Neto's not played any minutes yet. That's supposed to be an 8 out of 10 transfer window, some of these fans were telling me. And then we go into this transfer window needing another 2 players. And let's be real, we're probably not going to get the ones we want there either. So look, man, I've got to just be real with you. I don't know why fans are so scared to say it. One, the title is done. I mean, it was done anyway, but it's definitely done now. It's like complete nail in the coffin, as far as I'm concerned. And we now to get through these games because we've got cup games, Man United and Newcastle, and we've got a North London derby. And Chris Hudson said it to me on my channel the other day. After that North London derby, it's going to be like, right, what we done in the window because it's shutting. And if we ain't done much, and we're out of both them cups, and we haven't managed to beat Spurs, then I don't see how anyone can look at this and think this is the way we're going forward. Now, I know that's a negative way of looking at it, and we could win all those games, and we could get 2-3 signings and get back on track. And my point is, if that doesn't happen and the latter isn't there, I expect the fan base to start reacting and making some moans and noise about it. So we'll have to see where we're at, bruv, because it ain't good at the moment.
No, definitely not. Big up everyone locked in. By the way, Dan's channel is in the title, so get on there. How far are you away from 30k now? Are you close?
I think it's about 250, 300 or something like that. So come
nearly
on,
nearly 2,000 in here already. Hit the like button as well, people. Canadian Guna, Kai, Raheem, and Marino are sackable signings. Yeah. MJ Arteta's had 10 windows to build. Give him 10 more. Yeah, don't do that.
More
Sam, big up to
Windows
Sam.
than Microsoft, bro. That's what I said.
More Windows than Microsoft. Yeah, but big up Sam, new member. Sure, you might said we got bigger fish to fry. Well, we're frying Nemo right now, bro. Nathan Garrity said Liverpool win the title, it will be embarrassing for the other managers in the Premier League. But do you know when people say that? It's not embarrassing for other managers. It's embarrassing for Arteta.
Yeah.
Because if Maresca doesn't win the league, that's not embarrassing. They finished in the Conference League. He's not expected to. If Man City don't win the league, Pep can go, well, I've just won 4 in a row, mate. One bad year is not going to end my career. It's embarrassing for one manager and one manager only.
Do you know what I would say it's embarrassing for 2? You know the other one is? He ain't a manager there anymore. Jurgen Klopp. That's the only other manager it's embarrassing for, because this geezer's walked in and said, what, you won 1 in 9 years? I've won 1 in 1 year, mate. That's the only other manager I would say. But to be fair to Klopp, he has pretty much assembled that squad for him. So you could kind of come back there and say that isn't too embarrassing. But I get what you're saying. He's the one that's embarrassed him. Like Maresca is not embarrassing for. Pep, yeah, it's embarrassing for this season for him. But he's going to go, I'll take that because I've done a 4P. What's Mikel going to do? Mikel looks back and goes, I've had 5 years. I've spent 700 million. Really, I should be doing better. And I hope that he does. And, you know, I would not rule out this, because this contract that he's apparently signing, I don't believe that, unless you can tell me differently, he's 100% signed it. Now, some people are saying he has. But I would go. At the end of the season, if he underachieves, I would just walk and do a Southgate. See you later. I would respect him so much if he just did. Now, I don't think he's going to. And I don't think
never going to do that, is he?
But I would have so much respect for him, bruv, if he just said, look, it's 5 years. I've spent a lot. I've tried. I can't get this team across the line. I think I've come to the end. I'm going. I'll go. Do you know what? Fair play. Fair play. You're putting the club first. But I don't think you will. And I think that this is what we're doing. We're putting Arteta's CV first before the football club. That is a disgrace as far as I'm concerned. That's what the owners are doing.
Yeah, even just there quickly what he's saying. I think with Klopp, even though I get it, he would say, number 1, I built that team, and 2, he won everything. I know he only won 1 league, but you know what I mean? Champions League, FA Cups. But, I mean, I just checked there, actually. Yeah, Arteta did officially sign a new contract, 3-year deal, 15 million a season. Second highest paid manager in the league. I mean, just looking at today and the tactics or lack of them, why does he never try anything? I mean, I'm sitting there second half thinking, okay, you're short of options, but throw Martinelli up front. Put Trossard up front. Take Partey out of right back now. Put him back in midfield. Put Zinchenko in the 8 role. He plays there for Ukraine, you know what I mean, in big international games. Do something. Put Lewis Skelly in midfield. Like, I don't understand how this manager has spent money and taken us backwards. It's crazy that this is probably the worst we've been in the last 3 seasons, because the last 2 seasons, we didn't fall out of the title race till the end of the season. We're sitting here now going, yeah, we're done. If they win their 2 games in hand, they're 11 points clear, and they've got 7 goals better on goal difference. We're not seeing them for the rest of the season. We're actually got to be careful with what's going on behind us, because Forest go level on points with us. Chelsea are right there with us. Newcastle are on form. There's so much problems if we don't achieve something good this season. What do you think it would take for the owners to look at his position? Is it simply just if we fell outside the top 4?
Yeah, I think if he's trophyless and he's outside the top 4, I think if he's trophyless and he gets in the top 4, I think he stays. In their eyes, in the Kroenkes' eyes, I don't know that the fans would all accept that. And I think that there's certainly going to be a kind of fan base or side of the fan base, section of the fan base that's starting to question it already. I think at the start of this season, it was like 90% of people wanted Arteta in. And I think now we got to Christmas, New Year, and people are starting to go, oh, I'm not too sure. And now I think it's gone to more of a 60-40 that people might actually not be too sure about him now. Not want him out, but just might have question marks still. Yeah. And I really don't think there's anything wrong with that, Curtis. If there's a fan base that's deciding to say that they all believe that he's the right man, that's cool. If there's a side of the fan base that's starting to say, I think I'm starting to question where we're going here, because I can't kind of think we're sliding backwards. I just think they're using their eyes and they're using their brain. They're not being negative. They're not being toxic to it. They're not saying they don't believe and they think that this is a season of failure. They're just starting to have concerns and question marks. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Yeah, you get the extremes. You'll get the North Sides and League Gunners that are like, get him out now, he's a disgrace. And that's fine as well because it's their opinions. But I don't think we should be like pointing at sections of the fan base saying that this is a disgrace, this is on them, or this is a toxic way of looking at it. For me, you've just got to open your eyes and look at it. And I said this on my fan cam earlier. This ain't, oh my God, we're now 11 points behind Liverpool if they win, and Chelsea lost, and Man City today won again, and Spurs were like, I don't care about all that, bruv. I care about how we're playing right now. I couldn't give a absolute monkeys what Chelsea or Man City or any one of the others are doing. For me, it's about what Arsenal are doing. And Liverpool in a position right now, bruv, where they're laughing, mate. Because they're like, bro, we're in about third or fourth gear. We've not even got to like fifth or sixth gear yet, and everyone around us is awful. We're going to waltz, mate, this league. Waltz it. And I think that is embarrassing for Mikel Arteta because this guy's walked in phase one and he's done the job. And people will say Klopp built him a side. Yeah, Klopp did build him a side. He bought Chiesa and the guy's not kicked a ball yet. He started to do a lot with that Liverpool side, in my opinion, that Mikel Arteta has not been able to do with his own team. This is not Slot's team. And that's what people forget. This isn't Slot's team. Well, it wasn't Arteta's team when he picked it up from Emery. So what's the difference? Do you know what I mean? Like, he's got to build his own philosophy still. He's still got to get his team playing. He's still got to pick that team up and get it across the line. And it looks like he's going to. And I don't think Mikel Arteta is going to get anywhere near it. And I would argue we look worse this season than we have done in the last two by quite some distance, if I'm honest with you. And I think a lot of it is the in-game management by Mikel Arteta in terms of the style and some of the subs. And like you say, I was sitting there with my dad watching the game saying, is he going to bring Partey into midfield yet? Are we still going to put him there? Can we not go, even if we had to go free at the back, try and hit more on the counter and try and play Calafiori inside with Gabriel and Saliba and maybe bring Kieran Tierney on and maybe, bring on Mars Lewis-Skelly or like you say, Zinchenko, or do something a little bit different. Martinelli through the middle is a good shout. Trossard was doing nothing on that left. Either bring him inside or change his position. It's just like, no, we're sticking with it like for like. Make sure you waste time. We'll get a free kick and we'll get a header and we'll win it 2-1. That's honestly what I thought his tactics were today. It was a shambles, bro.
I mean, do you know what? I was looking at it today, and listen, we know that the Thomas Partey situation was kind of enforced because of the Timber injury, but I'm looking at it today going, our right back's a centre mid, our left back's a centre back. You're playing Rice attacking midfield when he's a 6. Right, and then on the right-hand side, you've got Nwaneri, who's an attacking central midfielder. And then through the middle, you've got Jesus, who basically, he doesn't even play like a striker. There was times today the ball was being crossed in. He's on the wing. He's not even in the penalty area. I have never seen a team that is successful that plays so many people out of position. Even if everybody was fit in our team, he would play Calafiori left back, who's a centre back. He would play Havertz up front, who's a midfielder. And he would probably have Rice in the 8, who's a 6. So I don't understand why, when you need a left back, you don't go and buy a top quality left back. When you need a striker, why don't you buy a striker? We buy a centre back to play left back. Why are we doing it? Because Pep doing it. We weren't doing it before Pep started doing it. We had natural left backs. And it just feels like we're following a trend. And I just think with Arteta, he has no plan B. It's almost like we're going to play like this, and if it doesn't work, well, then I'm out of ideas. And I think that's why I wanted Sesko in the summer, because when we're struggling, we just start crossing the ball. And he thought, if I've got 6'5" target, man, it might get me out of trouble a little bit. Why does he not just simplify things? Why does our left back always have to invert? Why can't the left back be a natural fullback and get on the outside of our left winger, and the right back gets on the outside? And like, he just seems to complicate things for no reason.
Well, look, I don't think any of our fullbacks at the moment are either inverting or overlapping. I don't really see Calafiori inverting too much at the moment. I don't see Thomas Partey doing it at the moment at right back. I don't see either of them overlapping. I don't think Calafiori got cross into the box once, did he? I don't think Partey did. I think maybe one. So I don't think our fullbacks at the moment are playing well enough, and I think they're chopping and changing too much. I have no idea what our midfield's doing. And someone actually asked me this question the other day, right? Where's Arsenal been weak this season? And everyone went, attack. It's the attack. I actually disagree. I think it's been our midfield because our attack's been poor because of our midfield. Because I've seen this attack with Saka, Martinelli and Jesus and Ødegaard thrive. When we had Xhaka and Partey in there, it looked absolutely phenomenal. In 22-23, it was electric. It was scintillating. It blitzed teams. Because the balance is so bad in our midfield, I think it's let down everything. And the only time it's looked half decent is when our right-hand side is strong. So if you think back to the games where we played very well this season, it's been when Timber and Saliba were on the right and when Saka and Ødegaard were on the right. Anytime you take one of those pieces out on that right-hand side, we look a shambles and a mess. Yeah. So I think that for me is Thomas Partey has to play in the 6 and Ødegaard has to play in that kind of attacking role that he likes to play in. And Saka and Timber have to be on that right-hand side. And if that doesn't happen, we have nothing down that right and we haven't got anything down the left most of the time anyway. So I think that midfield and the balance in transition thing is a huge issue. And I think without Thomas Partey there, Rice at the moment isn't playing there either. So we're either forcing Jorginho into there or we're kind of playing not even a double pivot. We're kind of still playing this 6-8-10 thing, which is another thing I don't get because I've seen Jorginho and Rice in double pivots do well. I've seen Partey and Rice in double pivots do well. Why are we so obsessed with one of them, both of these? You know, you've got your 6 and the 8 and 10 have to do this, but forward. Why can't we have 2 here and let Ødegaard float? Or whoever plays there float. The problem we had today was who was actually supposed to be our most advanced midfielder? Was it Marino? Was it Rice? Who was it? Because I saw Rice doing a little bit of everything. And I said he was like jack of all trades, master of none today because he wasn't doing anything right, but he was trying to do it all. You know, he was trying to deliver. He was trying to bomb forward. He was trying to defend. He was trying to intercept. He was trying to link up. And it was just not working because it was like, what is my actual role here, Mikel? What are you asking me to do? Am I a Gerrard or am I a Carrick or am I a little bit of a Granit Xhaka? What do you want me to do here? I mean, I kind of think they were all lost, if I'm honest with you, bruv. It was awful.
I honestly think that Arteta's ruining Declan Rice. I'll be honest with you. And if I was the owner, and this is again when some people say it's not the owner's fault. Mikel spent 750, and listen, Arteta is, you know, my opinion of Arteta. I'm not convinced by that guy at all. But if I'm the owner and you've spent £105 million on a player, and you're now chopping and changing his position, and his performances are, I mean, let's be honest, Declan Rice has been average this season. You can cherry pick the odd game where you go, I played well there. But overall, he looks a bang average footballer this season. This is a guy last year, we were raving about him. He got in Premier League Team of the Year. He was one of our best players. People were saying, apart from Rodri, this is the best defensive midfielder in the league. Future Arsenal captain. We should have paid more. We heard all them things last season. I'm now looking at it going, West Ham have robbed us. This guy ain't worth 100 million. But then I'm looking at him going, what do you want him to do? You want him to get on the edge of the penalty area and, you know, open up defence or shoot from 30 yards. To me, Rice is sit in front of the defence. But if we get forward, you're the one that joins in. So if you play Rice next to Partey, he's the one that I would give more freedom. So I play a double pivot of Rice and Partey to give us that solidarity. But when we're on the attack, leave Partey there for the insurance. Rice has got more energy. You go and join in. Ødegaard's more the 8 or 10, whatever you want to call it, and creator. All this, we've got to label players all the time. Oh, he's an 8. He's a 6. He's a 10. He's a 9.5. Do you know what I mean? Just play the man in a role that naturally suits him. He was raised at West Ham as a centre-back. He got moved to DM. He's played under David Moyes, who pumps it long to Antonio and tries to get the knockdown. So this guy is never going to be Rodri getting the ball on the half-turn off the centre-backs. If you want him to be that, you've got to develop him. So I honestly feel sorry for Declan Rice because last season he was one of the best players at our club. And now I feel like we're making him worse. And Pep wanted him. Pep offered 80 million for him. So he could see something or felt I can develop him into something. So what do you think with Declan Rice? What do we do with that situation?
Well, the manager's got to play him in the right position, first of all. And I think we've got to recognise that he's not an 8. And there are a section of the fan base that believe he is our best 8 option at box to box. I'm probably going to have to say that I agree with that, but that's how bad the 8s are. There is no number 8 at this club that I like better than Declan Rice, and I don't think Declan Rice is an 8. That tells you everything you need to know. There's no number 6 better than Thomas Partey. So where does that leave Declan Rice? Well, it leaves him in the 8, and I don't like him there. So the only two things you can do is try and make do at the moment while Partey's fit enough in the 6, and then use Declan Rice in the 6 when you buy your new 8, or you play a double pivot and you put Partey and Rice together in that double pivot, drop Rice deeper into they're both playing more of a 6, and then you put Ødegaard into the 10. So you're going back to a 4-2-3-1 and allow Ødegaard to not just be that guy who plays on the right, but he also floats and puts some ball towards the left. Yeah. That's what I think we should need to be doing, because what that might do is actually bring in the left-hand side, and Martinelli might start actually being a little bit more flourished by Ødegaard's through balls and passes. I just think that's what we need to do now, because I can't see this anymore, man. It's absolutely terrible in our midfield. And it's nothing against them all individually. The only really one that I'm a bit like question marks over is Marino, but I'm happy to give him the season because you have to, because he's only just come into the door, right? But when I look at it all together, it looks just a mess. It doesn't look balanced. It looks really unbalanced, in fact. And I think when you look at what Declan Rice does, his attributes, they aren't going forward. You know, when I looked at Declan Rice at West Ham, I thought, do you know what? He's got some ability to go forward. But I never looked at him and thought, wow, he's the Fabregas of that team. Or, wow, Gerrard and Lampard, you know, they're going to have to watch out because Declan Rice is going to be the next guy that's on that level. I never did, man. I never did. I just never got it. I never understood it. And when we brought him in, the reason he was in team of the season, the reason he got 8 player of the matches in his first 12 games of the season last year was because of what? Because he was playing in the 6 in his natural position. And I don't know why we've moved him forward, but we have. It's just a mess, bro.
Do you know what? My theory on Rice, if you look at the start of last season, Partey got injured. Rice was playing next to Jorginho. And then later on in the season, towards like the last 6 weeks, Partey comes back. Rice gets a little bit more advanced and he finishes the season with like good numbers for a guy that basically has not played in the 8 role for the season. And I think the manager looked at it again. I said the same thing about Havertz, purple patches, getting caught up. Rice last season, 7 goals, 8 assists, 15 goal contributions for a guy that spent most of it in the 6. I think Arteta's thought process was, if I get him further forward for the whole season, he can turn 7 goals into 10, 12 goals, 10 assists, whatever. But the same thing, as I said, when I was on tour in America and we're speaking to some of the Arsenal staff, they're saying to us, what do you think we need? I'm going, you need a striker. They're going, what? Kai Havertz just scored 13 goals. He got 10 in his last 14 games or whatever. I said, mate, it's a hot streak. He ain't a striker. He ain't going to get you a league title. They go, nah. Their whole thing was Havertz. Declan Rice even did an interview in the summer saying, we've got Havertz. You lot don't understand how good he is. And, they were giving it all that. So I think sometimes Arteta gets caught up in little, hot streaks and thinks, oh, the player's going to do this for a long period of time. So I think Declan Rice is a problem. I do agree with you. The midfield has been a big problem this season. It just doesn't look balanced. And they always say it's the engine room of the team. But the front three, I mean, I do have to speak about the front three. I said today that Brighton at one period in that game had a better front three on than we had. They had a Dingra, Matoma and João Pedro. I think that's a better front three than Jesus, Martinelli and Trossard, the way they're playing at the moment. Why has he neglected this attack so much over the years? And second of all, just to extend the question, what has happened to a lot of these players? Because Trossard, maybe last year, 12 goals, big moments, the celebration. Martinelli 2 years ago, 15 goals, fans' favourite. Jesus, before the injury, we thought this guy, could be a gem for us. What has happened to this attack? Outside of Saka, nobody seems to be performing.
Well, it's an interesting one you said outside of Saka, because I agree with that. Saka is the only one that's delivering, which puts him, for me, on a pedestal of how good he is.
Yeah.
Because all of the others are really failing. Now, when you get a number of, let's say, players in any position that are all firing and you get a couple that aren't, you might look at it and go, maybe they're just not cutting the mustard. Maybe they're just not up to scratch. Maybe there's a problem there and we need to move them on and upgrade on them. Because there's been so many that are underperforming, you have to look at the common denominator here. And it's the manager and it's the style of play, because it is not allowing them to thrive. And people will say, but they've scored the most goals last season and we've scored. I don't care about last season. We didn't win the league last season. Yeah. We don't get points and trophies for winning the most amount of points and scoring the most amount of goals. That's not what happens. Yeah. You got to actually beat the team ahead of you. And we didn't do that. This season, I look at more regression of players than I do progression again. That means that last season, Trossard and Kai Havertz were on 15 goals each. This season, I don't think they're going to get anywhere near 15 to 20 goals, in my opinion, right? Kai Havertz might in all competitions, to be fair, because he's just that guy that does get some goals, doesn't get others. I look at Martinelli, 17 years old, came onto the scene. I thought, wow, this kid looks electric. He could play anywhere across that front three. He looks unbelievable. Scored 10 goals with Unai Emery. I thought, yeah, this guy's going to be quality. Then we had him in and out of the side with Smith Rowe, everyone crying out, where's Martinelli? Where's Martinelli? Didn't really see much of him. And then he had a purple patch where he had about 15 goals and everyone thought, there we go. There's Martinelli that we know. Since then, regression, and this season, regression. And you can say the same now for Trossard. You can say the same for Gabriel Jesus. You can add Lacazette, Aubameyang, Willian, Pepe, Reece Nelson. Who have I missed? Fabio Vieira. You
Eddie.
can probably add Smith Rowe, Eddie and Nketiah. That's not a good list, bruv, is it? You know, because like I said earlier, if you would have said, do you know what? One thing you can say about Mikel is his style of play allows his attackers to absolutely thrive. There's only really, let me just make it, Reece Nelson and Eddie Nketiah, they ain't done it. The others have all delivered and fired. No, they haven't. We've just gone through a list of about 12 that haven't done well under this manager. So why is it that only Bukayo Saka has thrived under a manager? Is it because the manager and him just are connected? Or is it because everyone else is struggling with the style, but Saka's so good that even when he has a bad game, he'll get a delivery right and he'll get an assist or he might hit a goal in? That's what I think it is. It's the latter. So I think the style of play is an issue. I think the way that we play and we have nullified our attack because we've been so much. I mean, look, when Ethan Nwaneri's taking 4 hours to take a corner and getting booked in the 27th minute, there's a problem there, bruv. Yeah. Mikel Arteta has clearly told them to calm it down and make sure we win this 1-0. Don't concede, boy. Make sure we win this 1-0. Well, by not winning 2-0 or 3-0 or getting the third or fourth, we're now drawing 1-1 because you're telling us not to. Against Everton, didn't even look like making a change to go. He brings on Thomas Partey and Jorginho at 0-0. Is he having a laugh, this guy? At Fulham, exactly the same thing. I had nothing to change about it to try and get us to 2-1. And then, we scored a goal that was offside, but then we didn't get the result. And then you go into this game, and that was not an attack-minded game. And then I go back to the last thing, and the one thing I've been saying for a long, long time, that our attack, in terms of our squad depth, is nothing short of a shambles. I looked at that today on the bench, and I thought, whoa, that is seriously worrying. When you've got two youth academy kids, Kabia and Adeji, is it?
Yeah.
Butler Adeji.
Butler
Adeji and Kabia that are both on the bench. On top of Kivior, which is fine because you've got to have cover in defence as well. But on top of that, you got your goalkeeper and 4 defenders, a sick Martin Odegaard and a half sick Martinelli that have to come on to try and win you a game. And they both look like they were drugs when they come on. Maybe they were.
Was Martinelli sick, was he? I didn't hear about that.
So there was rumours that Martinelli hasn't been feeling 100%, but he was fit to play some part of the game. And Odegaard really weren't well. That was what I was told. Look, I don't have inside knowledge like some, but that was rumours I heard. And obviously Kai Havertz is the one that's really sick at the moment and isn't well enough. So look, I don't know, bruv, what the answer is, but you have to point towards the manager as to why this attack's not firing. And he's got to get it firing, And it's okay doing it in glimpses, going and beating Sporting by 5 and brushing West Ham aside. But then when you can't beat Everton and Fulham and Brighton and you beat Ipswich Town 1-0 at home, there's serious question marks about this attack. There is. Yeah. It's just got to be said, bruv.
Yeah, 100%, bro, 100%. Let me read out these super chats. Sam said, this team without Saka is a bang average team. We've only beaten 2 teams in the top 10. Which, I saw that yesterday. I couldn't believe that.
So, is that right?
Yeah, 2 of the top 10. It was, who was it? Forest and I forget who the other one was. I'll get it up in a sec anyway.
Villa.
Villa, that's it, earlier in the season, yeah. City, Liverpool, Bournemouth, Brighton, all Newcastle, none of them we've beaten. Chelsea as well. 750 million to challenge for top four. Disgusting. Arteta out. Baloo says Fabregas or Nagelsmann if Arteta out. I don't know if Fabregas is ready for that job, but
Wouldn't surprise me.
That's probably who they'd go for, somebody like that.
Exactly.
Tapan said, I hate our top gooners. Arteta says masterclass when we win, but blame players when it goes wrong. They will sell their house, but blame Arteta. Craziness. Trigg said 800 million spent in 5 years. He's only signed 6 good players: Gabriel, Magalhaes, Odegaard, Timber, Partey, Rice, and Raya. The rest are average or crap. I mean, I haven't even, because he didn't sign Saliba, did he? But yeah, it's an interesting one. LMS, big up to you both. We are meant to be chasing a title. We play like we're 15 points clear. Where is the urgency in 90? As I said, man, you know,
just on that, bro, the urgency in 90 minutes. Did you see the referee actually blew for full time because Partey just couldn't be asked to throw it on? That was hilarious.
Partey was like, can I throw it there? Can I throw it there? Oh, no. And he went, yeah, that'll do, mate. It's raining. I'm going home. Do you know the moment? I don't know if anybody saw the moment after the game where it panned to Odegaard and he had spit dripping out of his mouth. Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
Bro,
No.
I said that kind of sums up Arsenal's performance today. It was just crazy. The fact we're bringing on sick players and saying, go on, mate, try and do me something. Take a Lemsip and go and win me the game. It's just crazy. It's madness.
Wow, that's mad.
Suj said, big up Curtis and Dan. Hit the like button and subscribe. Over 2K watching. Run the likes up to over 1K. If other teams were better, we'd be in a top 6 battle. And this is what I've been saying over the last few years, is that we've kind of been left alone because Chelsea have completely transformed their club. Owners gone, managers have gone, players have gone. They've been out the mix. Man United is the worst I've ever seen Man United. Owners have kind of changed, managers, all of that. They've been out the way, and they're the biggest club in the country. Tottenham are Tottenham. They'll never be in the mix anyway. It's been us and City. Liverpool have been in it and fallen out at the end. We haven't been able to get over the line. Now City have fallen off a cliff and Liverpool have overtaken us. If Liverpool win the league, which I expect to happen, what do you think that does to Arsenal? What do you think? We know what it does to us as a fan base and how we'll be, you know, kind of complaining. But do you think Arsenal as a club will be fuming that Liverpool have come in and overtaken us? Or do you think they will just say, because I've spoken to a lot of Arsenal fans and they say, oh, you know, the red cards, PSR, you know, all the excuses. They kind of just say, well, there's nothing we could do about it. We were unlucky. But do you think the club will be furious that Liverpool have took the league, or do you think they will look for excuses as well?
The club will be furious. They haven't won the league when Man City haven't. And it means that Arsenal must win a trophy. But the fan base and the ownership are very different, bruv. Very different. And to be fair, some of the fan base are not actually quite as much different as the ownership, if I'm honest with you. And I said this earlier. There's a lot of the fans, and it's not their fault because they can't help when they were born. They were like, oh my God, we're second. I'm used to fifth and fourth. I was coming 8th a couple of years ago. This is unbelievable. This is, praise the Lord. I can't believe it. This is the best I'm going to see. So that's not their fault, but we did not want that. You don't get anything for second place. Yeah, just to let you know. There's no difference between coming second, third, or fourth. All 3 of you get Champions League football, and you're all losers to the one who won it. That's the way I see it. Always have seen it, right? So that's what I would say. If Liverpool win it, it is embarrassing. It's not embarrassing because they're a crap side. It's not embarrassing because they've got a rubbish manager. It's not embarrassing because Klopp inherited the squad, so it's impossible for us to get ahead of it. It's embarrassing because they should not be anywhere near where they are in terms of their points gap from Arsenal. So fair enough, they can be playing less well, and that's fine. Because if I'm honest with you, I haven't been blown away by Liverpool. I think they've done very well this season, but I haven't gone, wow, they look invincible, Centurions, 99 treble winners. They don't look that good. They look good, right? But Arsenal should be there with them. And it should be, right, let's give it a real good crack then, guys, because Liverpool are looking pretty good under this slot. It's looking good. But look, we're 3-4 points ahead of them. They might catch us up. We are miles off it. And that's why it's embarrassing, Curtis. And that's what we've got to get across to these fans that don't get it. It's not, well, they got a great squad. We can inherit it. We can't compete. No. Look at why we can't compete. Look at the reasons why we can't. Look at our transfer window. Look at our manager and the in-game tactics. Look at the fact that some of these players are still here that they absolutely should not be, by the way, yeah? Let's be real. I love Kieran Tierney, but why is he still here for? It's actually embarrassing on the lad. Like this lad should have been allowed to go way before he got injured in Euros. Yeah, if he wasn't part of our plans. Why are we hanging on to these players still? And that's what we need to be looking at more. And just quickly on Kai Havertz, because you mentioned him. I know he didn't play today, so you can't blame Kai for today, right?
Yeah.
And I look at Kai Havertz and I think he's fine to be a squad contributor. I really do. I think he's fine to be brought on for 25 minutes or so. I think he's fine to start some and you bring him off. And I think he's fine to be rotated with, right? But I actually can't believe that we signed him. I can't believe that we signed him. And I remember when we were linked with him and me and you were at the studio. And I remember you walked in and you just looked at me and just went, shaking your head. And I just thought, yeah, that's exactly how I feel. And of course, there's no, oh, well, they must see something in him. And other teams have been mentioning it. Must be something we're not seeing. But this signing, Turkey said it, it will come down and it will haunt him. It will be a sword he falls on, because he will fall on that sword, because he is now our £290,000 a week number 9 that was bought in as the number 8, that we still need an 8 and a 9 for. That now that people are saying, oh, we might need a striker, you've got that section of the fan base you said that go, yeah, but he got 15 goals last season. He's our striker. I don't see the problem.
Yeah.
What do you mean you don't see the problem? This guy is a squad player and we're trying to get him to win the league. And that's what it is. Now, when we were 22, 23 that season, when we were blitzing, I remember saying, look, yeah, we bottled it, but we were a top 4 squad trying to win the league. And 2 years on, we're still a top 4 squad trying to win the league, Curtis. That's what we are. I don't think we've moved on in those 2 years whatsoever. So when it was like, oh my God, Arsenal in a title race, could you believe this? We're in March. I was like, wow, since those days when we actually should now be in the title race, we're still a top 4 squad going for a title. Because I don't look at the other squads around us and think, oh my God, we're clear of them. I don't look at City's, Chelsea's, even Villa's, Liverpool's. I don't look at Newcastle's and think, oh, we're levels above them. We might have a few more players than a few of those teams, but I don't look at them and go, wow, we're levels. I mean, like elite levels. There's no comparison, because Liverpool probably got a better squad than us. Manchester City, when they've got their full fit squad and everyone's fit, they've probably got what they have. I mean, they've proved they've got a better squad than us over the last couple of years. Yeah, definitely. Chelsea are close now. Chelsea are definitely close. And I have to say it, bruv. I played Aston Villa. When we played Aston Villa and we won 2-0, I looked at their bench. It was better than ours. Brighton's bench was better than ours. Brighton's first attack's better than ours. Brentford's got a better attack than us. I'm looking at Bournemouth and Wolves saying, I'd take them. I'd take him. West Ham, I'd take him. We shouldn't be doing that. We should be going up to Real Madrid and Barcelona and Manchester City and Bayern Munich and going, right, are we as attack's better than theirs, attack's better than theirs? But we're doing that with Bournemouth and Brentford and Wolves and West Ham and Brighton. Do me a favour, man. What have we built here? Not good enough.
We've built a sandcastle, mate, and the tide's coming in. That's what we've built, mate. Don't worry, we'll get Rashford on deadline day. Don't worry, it'll be fine.
Just top it off, bruv. Rashford and Evan Ferguson on loan. That will top it off.
Evan Ferguson. I'd rather have Alex Ferguson, mate. Honestly. Do you know what? I want to give you one chance to revise something. On the show we did the other day, you said you'd keep Jorginho. Would you change that?
Bro, after today's performance, that is not a good performance at all, bro. That really weren't. I know you weren't good. You're not good for him and you wanted him to be replaced. I just feel like today was a bad performance, and I actually have been okay when he's come on and done a job. Look, I'm not too bothered by it, see, to be fair. If he did go, I wouldn't be crying about it. If he stayed, I wouldn't be. I remember saying the reason I said keep him is just for squad depth purposes. That was all. It weren't to keep him.
I hear you.
I mean, so, yeah, it's just he was poor today, bruv. He was, and every time he went down, he's looking at the ref like, come on, it weren't me falling over. It's definitely got to be a foul. No, mate, you were just rubbish. Like we had a lot of that like that today. Yeah, man. Too many. What are we
Ref,
doing,
get
man?
up.
Martinelli rolling around on the floor. Like, get up, bro. You've not managed to beat your man again, Gabby Martinelli. Once.
Yeah,
Why
yeah,
can't
it's
this guy
true.
beat someone, Trossard, like, what was he doing? He's stinking out the gaff today. They're all booing him. Maybe it got to his head because, honestly, man, it's an absolute
I said
nightmare.
a long time ago about Trossard, listen, Brighton are one of the best clubs in the league at selling players. They let that guy go for 27 million, put up no fight, and just let him walk out. There was always going to be a problem. I'm telling you now. And the problem is the guy has no consistency in his game. He's a clutch player, he'll score you a big goal. He's a good finisher, to be fair, technically very good, but he's not that guy. He's 30 now. We got him at 27. He's in his third season. They need to go back to that Saudi club who offered for him and say, come and get him in January. To be honest, if they offered 35 million euros, we paid about that for him. I'd say, okay, get rid of him, add another 30 on top of that and go and buy a winger. By the way, I'm going to give people a way out for today because a lot of people in the comments saying Robbie's blaming the ref, which big up to Rob, but we knew that was. I'm sure Julian's blaming the ref and Ty will be blaming the ref. I'm going to give you an escape clause for today, people, because I'll be honest, I think I didn't see this angle before while I was on the stream, right? I didn't see this angle. So I'm going to play this to let people, hopefully they won't give me a copyright thing for this. When you see this slowly, top of Saliba's head, flicks it up. Do you see that?
Wow.
Look at that. Look, top of his head. And then he headbutts him. So surely that should not be a penalty. And listen, I don't like blaming refs. The ref will not, that penalty decision will not, excuse the performance. I'm more looking at the performance, but you can't ignore that at the same time. That shouldn't be a pen. I'm not saying it fixes everything, but they may not have scored if they don't get that penalty. Why are they not checking that? It's quite simple for me. Why are they not checking? The margin for error is so small in the Premier League. You've got 4 guys there, VAR in Stockley Park. Why are you not saying, listen, mate, you need to go and look at the screen here. It hits the top of his head before he makes contact.
You know what? Fair play, because I thought it was. I didn't really care so much whether it was a penalty or not. I was so devastated by the performance. I wasn't going to cry about it. I did think at the time, I've never seen a penalty given like that before. I haven't actually seen a clash of heads being given as a penalty, because that's what it is. Let's be real. Yeah. I suppose it's more than a clash of heads because he does miss the ball, but you get my point. It wasn't a horrific, malicious tackle in the box. It wasn't like he swiped his legs out. So I thought, it's soft, but it's a foul. He's obviously headbutted him, right? So fair play. He's gone down, by the way, like he's caved his skull in. I couldn't quite believe what I was seeing. I texted my Brighton mate. I said, I hope he's all right. Is he going to make the season, or is he going to be all right? But still, you see that angle and look, you slow it right down like they would have done on VAR, and he touches the ball. So look, fair play. But look, it doesn't change our performance.
It doesn't. It doesn't. It really doesn't.
And if I'm honest, you know what actually really annoyed me today more than anything was I didn't look at Brighton once and think, wow. No. I looked at Brighton. They haven't won since November, by the way. 9 games without a win. And we walked in and they're like, oh, yeah, we'll take a point off you. The artist Arteta loves a draw. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't do enough today, bruv. We just didn't do enough. I'm just sick of it, if I'm honest now. And you know what? I said this earlier. I'm bored. I'm bored of watching us. It's crap. Yeah. It's boring, walking football, sideways, backwards, no flair, no creativity. This is a manager that's supposedly learned off of Pep. This is a manager that, when I said, who do you want then, Dan? Who do you want then? And I'm dared mention a few years ago the likes of Diego Simeone. Boring football. Don't want him. Boring football. Boring to watch. Well, what's this then? This ain't Pep Guardiola style. This ain't Jurgen Klopp. He hasn't got either of them, by the way. He hasn't got any of those traits because he's got PTSD, because the last time we tried to play it, he felt like we all got exhausted and we threw it away. All he needs to do was strengthen the squad a bit and go again. But instead, he's now that's changed to being resolute and sticking a £65 million 8 up front in the 9. Like, let's just be real. What is happening? It's poor, bruv. It's poor.
Yeah, we're playing nothing like Pep. Or maybe like Pep's playing this season, but yeah. Sudge said 2027, the contract of Saka, Saliba, and Gabriel are expiring within 2 years. Why can I see Saliba going Madrid, Saka replacing Salah, Gabriel at PSG? I think definitely the Saliba one. You know, I saw a thing, Florentino Perez, they're saying that his plan is to get Trent on a free and make a big offer for Saliba and fix the defense. I mean, I said today in the stream, and I've said this a number of times, if this guy leaves, don't do the Ashley Cole, Fabregas, Van Persie thing as a fan base. Because this guy deserves to be at the top table. He's one of the best players in the world in his position. And he must be sitting there. Okay, people will say today, your Costa's a penalty, whatever. But he's being let down for me by the club. And if you can go and play for Real Madrid and start, who's going to say no to that in their right mind, really? You know, you couldn't blame him. Rosh said, seriously, guys, where do we go from here? We're going to look at where we go from here. I don't want it to all be doom and gloom, but it's definitely not good right now. I'm going to, listen, you're on the show. Anytime we do Arsenal therapy, I always talk about these guys. I'm sorry. I have to do it. It triggers people. And people go, they said this before they took full ownership. I don't care. I don't care. To me, they're still the same guys. They're still content with top four as long as the money comes in. I don't see any... To me, if these guys were serious, they messed up in the summer. Sammy Mockbell says the other day, Arsenal are nowhere near PSR. They're way off. They didn't hardly spend any money, net spend in the summer. So that nonsense is out the window from the first week of the window. They're meant to say, Mikel, we tried to tighten the purse strings in the summer. We can see you're in a bit of trouble. There's 90 million, mate. Go and get somebody. There's 70 million. There's 50 million. Go and get somebody. But instead, it feels like we tried to sign Cunha window. I don't know if you've seen this story today that we made some loan off of some guy called Igor Jesus, some Brazilian striker. Have you seen that?
No, who the hell's that?
Bro, he's just got in the Brazil squad. He plays for Botafogo. He's 23. Apparently, he's got a £16 million release clause, but we've tried to get him on loan and they've said no. Google it, mate. I couldn't believe it. It's coming out of Brazil, so I don't know how true it is.
Mate, where Edu's gone? I thought we couldn't get any more.
You know what I mean?
Jesus. That's his name.
Yo, mate, I thought it was Gabby Jesus' nephew or something.
He's 23.
Yeah.
He scored 5 goals.
Yeah, that's about right.
Bruv, what is going on? Mate,
that's who we're being linked with.
That's a joke, man, if we are. That's a joke. And by the way, I can't believe he's actually said this. I remember him saying this. I didn't buy Arsenal stake to win trophies. Like, go then. See you later. I want new owners then. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what, though, bruv? Like, some people at the end of the game were saying to me, it's not their fault. You know, they've backed him. But my thing was, if you put money in the wrong hands, you're not doing your job properly. Man United spent $1 billion and still wanted their owners out because you're putting it in sporting directors and managers' hands who don't know how to deal with it. Now, if you've got a £3 billion football club and you've got Vinay with no football experience, you've got Edu who's never been successful as a sporting director, and you've got Mikel Arteta who's never managed a day in his life, how was that supposed to work? What was the plan behind all that? Oh, hold on. I don't know if you've just seen this. Breaking news, mate. What did I just say a minute ago? This is we tried to sign Matheus Cunha window. I should end the stream now. He signed a new contract at Wolves. He don't even want to join the Arsenal, mate. He's used us for a new deal. Fabrizio Romano, 1 minute ago. 1 minute ago, mate. Breaking news for Fabrizio.
God. I've just got it up.
Wolves have agreed a new deal with Matheus Cunha, deal verbally in place for the Brazilian star to extend his contract with improved salary. Despite interest from several clubs, Cunha's set to sign. I mean, come on. Let me just say something now, people. Are you telling me that a guy one place above the relegation zone for Wolves, bro, Wolverhampton Wanderers, he's not banging down the door, desperate, screaming, to leave and join Arsenal. He should not be going anywhere near a new contract. He should be saying, I'm a Brazilian international. I used to play for Atletico Madrid. I'm at Wolves fighting relegation. My manager's just been sacked, Gary O'Neill. And Arsenal want me. You can't put a contract in front of me. I'm leaving. This guy's gone. Arsenal. I just watch them against Brighton, mate. There's nothing I can do up front playing in that system. I'll stay here. As long as you put a relegation release clause in there so I can go if you get relegated, I'm good, mate. Look how good I'm playing. This is shambolic. We can't get Wolves players.
Bro, I've got to be real. I wasn't 100% set on the deal anyway. However, that doesn't stop it being a joke. He's happy at Wolves because Arsenal come knocking, and it is a different knock. It's a knock that makes you realise I'm quite happy here.
It's like the bailiff's knock, innit? You know, in the bailiff's knock, you go, yo, look down, hide behind the sofa.
Yeah, our knock. Yeah, Real Madrid have got that knock, which basically, you before you can knock, the doors open. Our knock is let's hide behind the sofa. We're not in.
We're not in,
bruv. It's not looking good, is it? I mean, look, maybe we didn't want him as much as people say.
That'll be the excuse now.
That'll be the excuse. Anyway. Oh, we didn't want him. It was all rumours. We didn't want him, even though apparently we'd agreed terms with him. Maybe we did agree terms, and the terms were, cheers, but I'm going to stay at Wolves. Maybe they weren't the terms, mate.
We've agreed terms with Cunha. The terms are he's coming nowhere near our football club.
Oh, dear, you got to laugh, bro. Honestly,
I mean, listen, I'm with you. Cunha, we were indifferent. He's a good player. Is he ideal? But let's be honest. The question is, if Arsenal want Cunha, why can't they get him? That's the question.
Facts. And look, Wolves, if we wanted him, and do you know what as well? Crazy. Do you know what this proves? It proves that we don't have a sporting director. That's what it proves. Because if we wanted him, and I don't know how true the rumours are that we wanted him, if he's agreed terms with us, whatever we've done, we've basically not tempted him enough. And he has decided to say, maybe Wolves is where I'm at right now. And like you say, if we go down, I'll have a release clause in there so that I can go in the summer. I'm not too bothered about playing for Arsenal now. He's probably looked at our result and gone, what am I going to win there? They ain't going to win the league. They ain't going to win the Champions League. Do I fancy a Carabao Cup? Yeah, maybe, but I'll just go in the summer to a team and win something with them. Go abroad to, I don't know, Italy or Spain and go and do something there. So you can't play left back. That's class.
We've turned our attention to 8 Nori now, you know what I mean?
Yeah. You ain't seen Mikel Arteta try and play him there yet, mate. Yeah, you know what I mean? But look, do you know I put my the transfer news thing on a day? Was it 2 days ago? We were linked with Tariq Mitchell, another left back, and that one Garcia goalkeeper. They were the two people we were linked with. Can you imagine if we get them two in on January? Honestly, mate, it's just a joke, isn't it? And look, I'm not devastated by this news because I didn't particularly have my heart set on Cunha. I'd rather go and get Lookman as a left winger. I'd rather go and get Marmoush. I'd rather go and get Gyökeres up top is the number one for me this January. But it is just a bit embarrassing, isn't it? When like yesterday we agreed terms with him and the day after he signs a deal with Wolves. I mean, that doesn't look good, does it?
Mate, I spoke about this in the watch along. I said, don't be surprised if this guy just uses our interest for a new deal. Because I honestly don't. I mean, Arteta said on Friday, I don't have to convince players to come here anymore. But I still think, especially attacking players, because these guys watch football. Your career's on the line. If I'm a striker or a creative player, an attacking player right now, I'm looking at Arsenal. Remember, he's probably been in the Brazil squad with Martinelli, and I'm going, boy, man, look at the way they're playing football, and look how much defending you have to do as a winger, and the striker's not getting many good chances created for him. And, I don't know if these guys would want to play for Arsenal.
No. And this is the problem. If I looked at a team right now and I said, right, where do I see my career progression? Where do I see how I can get the best out of my game? Where do I see the scintillating attack-minded play? I go to Liverpool. And
Yeah.
if I didn't go to Liverpool, I'd look at the other attacks in the Premier League or abroad. The last team I'd look at right now is Arsenal. Other than the likes of Everton and some of the relegation fodder, I wouldn't be looking at Arsenal right now going, wow, I'm just
Yeah.
what they need. If I'm Alexander Isak, I'd have more fun in the Newcastle attack than in Arsenal's. And
Yeah.
funny enough, Newcastle have got a more balanced midfield than Arsenal because Tonali, Bruno G, and Joe Linton are
Oh,
absolutely on fire. And then you look at the front three that Newcastle have got. Okay, Jacob Murphy's probably a player they want to upgrade upon, but he's had an
yeah.
okay season. They've still got Harvey Barnes, who I think is more of a lefty, but they've got Anthony Gordon and Isak, and I'd take both of them into the Arsenal side. In fact, I think the whole of their left side I'd probably take right now because Lewis Hall's been brought in at left back. You've got Bruno Guimaraes, who I'm a big fan of. Tonali's been an absolute superb player since he's come in this season. Anthony Gordon's better than any left winger that we've got. And Isak pisses all over Havertz and Jesus combined. So let's be
Yeah.
real, bruv. It's scary when you can do... it weren't long ago that I was looking at Brentford going, I'd take those 3. Or I was looking at Bournemouth going, those 4 would do well. And
Yeah.
Wolves, let's take Cunha and Aït-Nouri and what's his name in midfield. We weren't doing that long ago. Now we're like, crikey, yeah, let's get them all in. That's how bad we are. That's what we are doing as a squad right now, which is why I said, hey, Arsenal, people said to me, do you think Arsenal win the league? I said, bruv, I didn't think Arsenal were going to win the league anyway, let alone without the way we're playing and the injuries we've got. People saying today, I think it might be over, Dan. I thought it was over before this game. Trust me.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's poor. And judges said to me before we played Forest, which was just after the Chelsea game, after that last international break, right?
Yeah.
Judges said to me, we've got to win 10 games in a row. And the number 10 game, this is Premier League games, the number 10 game is the North London Derby. Since then, mate, we haven't been able to beat Everton. We haven't been able to beat Fulham. We haven't been able to beat Brighton. So I looked at those 3 games, bruv, and I thought maybe Fulham we might drop because they're a good side, but I expect us to beat the others. So I'm looking now thinking I'm a little bit lost as to who we actually are going to win against because we don't play well enough and I haven't got any confidence with it. So Saka's out for long. Ben White's out for a while. Tomiyasu, let's forget about him. He's played 6 minutes this season. We've got Timber who comes back next game, luckily, which is good. Obviously, at the moment, we're without a bit of an illness. But in the next couple of weeks, even if we do get some players, we ain't playing well because we weren't playing well enough with them, bro. We were losing and drawing to games with Saka fit, with Ødegaard fit, with Timber fit. So people are crying out, got to get them back. What? We drew to Fulham with all those lads. We drew to Everton with all those lads. This ain't just we need our best players. This is a style problem. This is a manager problem. But you can't say that because there's so many fans out there that love Arteta. And I'm sure they support Mikel over Arsenal, some of them.
A guy put a super chat in at the end of my stream. He said something about I'm Arteta in. Yeah, what did he say? I'm Arteta in forever or something like that. He said something crazy, and I was like, bro, you do realize we existed before Arteta was the manager. Like, this ain't a club legend of a player that everybody loves. It's not like Tony Adams or Henry's the manager. Like, I couldn't believe what he said. I said, you're an Arsenal fan, though. You're not an Arteta fan. Arteta will leave Arsenal at some stage. It's crazy. Let me get into these super chats. Red Dust, big up to you, bro. We shouldn't allow ourselves to be in these situations where controversial decisions can decide our game. The window for success is slowly closing. What's concerning to me is the manager talking like we can afford another 5 years of this project. I think you're spot on there. And I'm telling you now, like you said earlier, Dan, a lot of the younger fan base, they can't understand this attitude because they've seen us 8th and 5th and stuff like that. And we're 2nd and we're competing for the league and we're in all 4 cups. And they're thinking, what are these lot moaning about? Let's see how they react when one of their favourite players leaves this football club because they haven't seen that for a long time. Do you know what I mean? We've seen Van Persie and Fabregas leave and Henry. You wait until Saliba's holding up a Real Madrid shirt and then tell me if you trust this process because it's going to happen soon if we don't win something.
Mate, the Saliba one is mad for me as well. I mean, like they're looking at getting Alphonso Davies at left back for free from Bayern because he doesn't want to stay. And Trent as well looks like he could be off. And if they get Saliba, Trent, and Alphonso Davies. They're going to go get us another centre half. They were looking at the Bournemouth lad, actually. I quite rate that Dean Howson, or whatever, as well. But they're looking at getting the whole of their back line sorted. And you know what will happen? Let him go. If he don't want to be here, Saliba, he can go and do one.
He's not proper Arsenal, mate. He's not proper Arsenal.
Of course he ain't proper Arsenal. He's French, for goodness sake. Of course he ain't. I mean, let's be real. The guy does not support Arsenal, does he? He grew up respecting us. He grew up with the Henrys and Vieiras as his heroes, I'm sure. Or maybe he was a bit too young for that. But you get my drift. I don't think that we can look at Saliba and hate on him for wanting to leave in 2 years' time if we've won nothing. Just like I don't with the others. Ashley Cole and Robin Van Persie, Fabregas, even Sanchez. They all went on to go and better their careers. And what did they do, bruv? They all won trophies, all of them. And they wouldn't have if they would have stayed here. So I can't sit there and say when Real Madrid comes knocking and you go, you better not go, Saliba, otherwise you're dead to me. You're dead to me.
Yeah, they do all that, man. Oh my God. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Yeah, it's footy, not soccer. So what do you reckon was the reason Odegaard was benched? I mean, apparently he was ill. Let's be real, guys. Have you ever seen a penalty given for a clash of heads before? Yes, we were poor, but yeah, I hear you. Listen, I always say, if Arsenal play well or it's in isolation and a refereeing decision goes against us, I'll go mad for it. But the performance is bigger than the penalty for me. And also, we had a long time left in the game after the penalty. We just didn't do anything. We just went through the motions and we never looked like scoring anyway. Mohammed said, we are not winning ish with this controlled, scripted football. We're horrible to watch. I want my money back. Mickey Ross out. Oh, God. And Willett said, lads, what's your prediction for the rest of the season? Dan, go on. What do you reckon? Are we winning a trophy?
My prediction for the rest of the season is I think we will. God, it's hard, isn't it? Because you kind of change your opinion as you go through the season with what you see. I said we'd win the domestic cup. I actually originally said the FA Cup. They ain't kicked off yet, so I can't really see it. I just think because it's our trophy that we love and I think we'll take more seriously. I actually want to change that now and say that it'll probably be more likely that we'll win the Carabao Cup because we're so close to the final. The way we're playing, I think that I might change that and say that I don't think we're going to win a trophy and I think we're going to come second by about 6 to 7 points off Liverpool. And that might be quite kind to be only saying 6 or 7 points. And that's a really negative view of it. And until things change, and listen, ask me again in the end of the January transfer window because I could change it again because of the squad. But right now, I think we're going to be trophyless, and I think we're going to come second. That's what I have to just be realistic and say. I hate being that guy because I said we'd win a trophy before a ball was kicked, and I said it would be one of the domestic cups, but I never thought we'd win the league or the Champions League, so I'm not going to change my mind on that. And if I'm honest with you, all these performances are doing is proving that actually we might not win the domestic cups either and just come second best again, bruv.
I mean, that would be a disaster, wouldn't it? It's not a disaster in terms of I don't think they moved the manager out. I think they would dress that up somehow.
Sure.
But I'm with you. I thought it was the Carabao, but because of what's happened with the Saka injury, with the way Newcastle are playing, and I always thought we could beat Liverpool at Wembley with Saka being fit. But I'm now looking at him being out and going, that attack, I don't know if that attack causes Liverpool enough problems. And they've got so much know-how and experience and Salah's on fire. I'm not sure. I hope I'm wrong. I hope it feels right now. Maybe we're in an emotional state, but it feels like it could be a trophyless one. I'm actually not confident about that game on Tuesday, even the home game. Never mind the away game.
Because they're going to play a really strong side, man. Newcastle. They've got one game a week, and they got to win a trophy. Like Eddie Howe's actually on as much pressure as Mikel Arteta to win a trophy, in my opinion, because I think they're going to move him on if he doesn't get Champions League football or win something. So I think, as much as I like Eddie Howe and the job he's done there, and I think he's a good manager, I think they've got to show ambition and go and get a proper winner if they do want to be, competing with the best. They want to keep hold of Isak, Bruno, Tonali and all their guys, Gordon, etc. So they've got to be competitive and win trophies. They're in a similar position to Arsenal, really, because it's desperate times. Eddie Howe's been there for 3 years. They're a billionaire club now, and they want to be competing with the best, and they want to keep their best players. So that's going to be a tough game. And if I'm honest with you, I've said to Lee, and I'll say this again, I think the players we're going to see on Tuesday are going to be the likes of Kivior. I think we're going to see Zinchenko. I think we're going to see Jorginho. I think we're probably going to see, Trossard and Waneri and all this. It's not going to be like Arsenal's strongest side.
You don't think so? You think he'll rotate?
I think he will, because I think he might have to, because we're in bare bones as it is, and we've got to go to the Carabao Cup semis in 2 legs, Manchester United in the FA Cup, and then play a North London derby, which the fans won't accept losing. And if I'm honest with you, bro, this might sound brutal, but I don't think the fans are going to accept losing any of these games. I think he has to win both cup games and the North London derby. And I don't think he's going to do that.
If you get knocked out in a semi-final to Newcastle, that's a meltdown. If you get knocked out of the FA Cup to a Man United team that is below mid-table, that is a meltdown. And then Tottenham at home. I agree. I think he's got to win all 3 of them games.
Yeah, he has. He absolutely has. Like, look, we might be able to get away with drawing one of the Newcastle ones if we win in the second leg. But I think we have to be winning going to St James's Park in that to go through. I honestly don't think we'll win at St James's Park. I think we'll draw at best. And if we lose, we just hope that we're like 2 or 3-0 up. And I don't think we will be. They made a good point in the chat. Big up the chat, said that even Waneri is potentially injured for a few weeks as well. That's what they're saying.
Well, Arteta said after the game it was a muscular injury. I don't know how he could have a muscular injury on Saturday and then play on Tuesday. I just don't see it. Whatever that is, I would imagine he's out of the game on Tuesday. So then you're probably going back to Martinelli, Trossard out wide, or maybe does Havertz come back? Depends how quickly he recovers. So, I mean, I get you in terms of rotation. He can't rotate much, can he? Maybe in the defence, maybe one of the midfielders, if Odegaard is fit enough to start. That midfield today would get annihilated by Newcastle's midfield.
If we play that, imagine if we play that against Tonali, Bruno, and come on, that's going to
Timber's back, right? Yeah. Timber's back on Tuesday.
Timber's back. That's a good thing.
So push Partey back.
So Partey will be pushed back. So that's fair. So Raya will be in goal. It will be Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, and Calafiori. But I've just got a feeling he might put Zinchenko and Kivior in, because this is what this manager does. I imagine it will be Partey back in midfield with Rice and Odegaard if he's fit enough and well enough. And then, I think it'll be Martinelli and Trossard either side of Jesus, and Havertz will be brought on if he's not 100% fit. Oh, Bruno's suspended, someone's just said.
Yeah, and Shaw's out as well. Yeah, I just remembered that. That's what I mean. I think we've got to beat them in the home game, especially with no Bruno. And then, if you could beat them by a couple of goals, maybe you could rotate for the away game, but it is difficult. It is difficult. I'm going to start rounding up slowly anyway. Big up to everyone locked in, 2.5K. Make sure you go and follow Dan on his channel. He's only about 200 away from 30K.
I think it's about 300 people. So if you could come and help me, that'd be amazing. Yeah, get over 30K is a massive target for me at 3.0. I don't normally big it up until you get close. Do you know what I mean? So we're close now. So come on, let's help a man out. Football's 12th man. It's in the title apparently. So please just come and hit subscribe and check out my fan cam. But big up to you, man. I appreciate it.
Bro, once you're close, you got to hunt it down, man. You know what I mean? So you got to do what you got to do to get there. What did I see? Sean, big up for the super sticker, bro. RG7 said, you guys should have a show together. Best duo. Well, we're doing rotating shows, aren't we? 1 week my channel. Maybe we should actually get a title for the show. And
we should.
Something like that. Sean said 750 million to make space and buy a dog. Who would you buy? Listen, I said a few weeks ago they got to change that dog's name, and it can't be called Win anymore because we ain't winning. Call it, compete or process or something. It's crazy. Who would you buy if you could get someone in January that is probably within the amount of money we might spend? Who would you go for?
Gyökeres. The reason I would go for Gyökeres is because I believe it's a realistic signing. I think I don't know what the release clause is, but it's a realistic. So it's not like 150 million like Isak. So it'd be Gyökeres. And a lot of people say it ain't going to happen because he doesn't want to come. A lot of people are saying that it ain't going to happen because we're not linked with him. I don't care anymore. Just go and get him. The guy's on fire. Yeah, absolute fire. The guy's been superb now for the best part of 18 months to 2 years at both of his clubs, at all of his clubs, whether it be for Champions League, for Sweden in his country, for Sporting Lisbon, even at Coventry when he was balling in England. Go and get this guy. Release his clause. Because, me and Turkish were talking about this. Oh, there ain't no one available. Well, Nico Williams has got a release clause, as has Osimhen, as has Victor Gyökeres. And there's players that we're being linked with, like Cunha, who ain't exactly going to break the bank. Neither would Brian Mbeumo, who scored another 2 goals today. That's 3 in 2 games. Neither would Semenyo. Neither would Kudus. None of these players are over 100 million. Yeah, some of them are as little as 50 or 45. Yeah, Marmoush, Lookman. None of these players I'm mentioning are like, you're joking. Who do you think you are? It's not like I'm saying, right, go and get Ireland, go and get Mbappe, go and get Vinny Jr. I'm not doing that, am I? Yeah, we're talking about players here that could be realistic, that are at Bournemouth and Brighton and Wolves and Brentford. Yeah, Atalanta, Sporting Lisbon. We're Arsenal. We're not like Everton trying to get these players. I'd be laughing then. So that's what I would do, man. Gyökeres is the one that I think that we need to be getting, in my opinion. And I know a lot of people disagree and say wait for Isak, but we don't even know that we're going to get Isak in the summer, bruv. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So I'm just posting a scenario to you here in the chat, by the way. If you felt, let's say Arsenal felt they could get Isak in the summer, they obviously wouldn't go for Gyökeres and Isak. If you could get Gyökeres now or Isak in the summer, what would you do in that scenario?
So my scenario would be twisted a bit because I actually believe that we should and could get both. Now I don't think we will, but I think we should, because I think Gyökeres could be that guy that comes up top and Isak could go out wide and we could play both of them. I think Saka, Gyökeres and Isak would be an unbelievable front three because Isak can play wide. But I think if you had to ask me and said you can only get one and you're definitely not getting the other, then I would get Isak in the summer because I just think he's unbelievable for what we need. Now, some people might say that's hypocritical because Gyökeres can get you across the line now. The problem is, bro, I think Isak can get us across the line to win us a title next season. I think Gyökeres can get us across the line to win us a domestic cup this season because I think the league's done. I don't think even if we signed Gyökeres now that we're winning the league.
No.
So I think you look at the summer and go, let's go all out for Isak and break the bank. I just think he's perfect for us. I think it's the way that we look forward, moving forward. He's just, can imagine him with the 14 on his back scoring goals for Arsenal. So I kind of got my heart and always have had him as number 1. But Gyökeres is my number 2, man. But you know what's really deflating, bruv? We're not going to get either of them. We'll probably end up with Benjamin Tesco, won't we, up top?
Yeah, we'll get Tesco. Do you know the thing? And do you know a story I saw tonight as well is that Vlahovic has been considered. I don't know if you saw it. He's rejected their final contract offer apparently, and they're saying he's transferable in January. And we know he's had some obsession with this guy as well.
Here we go. You know what I mean? That could be happening, bro. That could be happening then. I don't know how much we wanted him that year. I really don't know how true that was, but it looked like he was coming, then it didn't happen. Similarly to Benjamin Sesko, funny enough. Yeah, look, I've always been a fan of Dusan Vlahovic. I think he's a good player, but he hasn't really hit the ground running. I spoke to Footy Judge Mo, big up to him. He's obviously an Inter Milan fan, watches a lot of Serie A football, and he just shook his head and went, Lukaku vibes. That's what he told me about Vlahovic. Said awful first touch, said it's worse than Lukaku's first touch. But, a lot of people still do rate him. But I'm taking Gyökeres over him because if you're looking at the kind of style of player that he is in terms of that big kind of physical presence, I think as much as Vlahovic has got that, I think Gyökeres has got that plus more. I think he's more of the old school centre forward type, whereas Isak's a little bit more, threading balls through to him to run onto. He just relies on pace and power. And do you know what? I actually agree with what Peter's saying here. I actually don't think that Isak would suit what Arteta's trying to do here. And I know that sounds sad, but I just really don't. Unless he goes back to trying to play the way that we did in 22-23, which was scintillating to watch. I think Isak would fit into that side. Isak would not fit into this side currently because what we're playing is ridiculous. I don't think anyone would fit into this system.
Yeah, it's too static, isn't it? I think. Guna Gary, big up for the super sticker, bro. Big up. And Red Dust said, Arteta and the PR department can't wait to flex that Carabao. Chances we finished the season with the fan base arguing if it was successful or not. Do you know the thing with Arsenal fans, right? What I don't understand is like they will. So just as an example, when Man United won the Carabao Cup, they all kind of went, it's only the Carabao Cup. The bigger fish to fry thing all came out. Nobody cares about that fourth level tier. But if we win it, they'll go crazy about it. Now, I've never disrespected the Carabao Cup because to me, you've only got 4 trophies a season to win. We've never won one of them. We haven't won the other one for 30 years. And the other one we ain't won for 21 years. So to turn your nose up at a Carabao Cup and a trip to Wembley, 80,000, a lot of our team have never won trophies at this football club. It baffles me that we've had this snobbish attitude towards the Carabao Cup when our trophy cabinet's been empty for 5 years. So I don't get how the goalposts get moved so often. Oh, if Pep goes, we're going to clean up. Pep has one of the biggest drop-offs he's had in his career, and we still don't win the league. Oh, he needs a big transfer window, 230 million last summer. We still don't win the league. You know, everything that you argue. I always say I don't mind anybody that's a massive Arteta fan. I just want you to explain to me why you think he should be at this club moving forward and give me a logical explanation. We've sat here for 5 years. He's had $750 million. He's had all the PR. All the fans have backed him. This is his 3rd title challenge. And and we're further away now than we were 2 years ago. At this point, 2 years ago, we were top of the league. Do you know what I mean? We were flying. Last season, we were flying as well. After January, we went crazy after January. And like I said earlier, if we lose the title because Man City beat us at the Etihad and they've played brilliant and got to a level that we can't handle, sometimes you got to fall back and go, we're not good enough to compete with that. That defeat at the Etihad, it cost us the league title if that was the circumstances. But when you've drawn to Everton, lost to Bournemouth, drawn twice to Brighton. Brighton have actually ruined our season. 2 draws, home and away, this season. Do you know what I mean?
Fulham, I can't believe that stat. We've only beaten 2 teams in the top 10 and we're at New Year. That's a disgrace, bruv. I said this guy's an artist and loves to draw. I tell you, he does. He loves to draw, bro. Honestly, this guy is absolutely, we lose. Don't matter. At least we didn't lose. Bro, I'd rather lose 1 and win 1 than draw 2. You get more points. Like, this is ridiculous, man. This is. So that's where I'm at with it. What's your minimum? What was your minimum expectation for us to have a successful season before a ball was kicked, bro?
I didn't think we'd win the league, to be honest. So I wanted us to win it, but the window was never winning us the title. I suppose, to be honest, I thought we'd be right next to City. So if City won it, I thought we'd be right next to them. I didn't think Liverpool were going to win the league. So I thought City would win it. We'd be right next to them. I thought we'd win a cup. And I thought we'd go deeper into the Champions League than we did last year. So, you know, I suppose by that standard, we're not far off what my expectation was. But because that's what I expected doesn't mean that's what I'm accepting, if you know what I mean. I kind of felt like, let's put it this way. With City having that drop-off, like you said, we should be right next to Liverpool. Because even if we were on fire, Liverpool are having a great season. I'm not sitting there going, we should be top of the league by 5 points. Liverpool have lost 1 game. So even if we were on form, we would be close to them. But we've dropped points in 9 games out of 20 this season. Nearly half our games we haven't won. You've got absolutely no chance of winning a league. Let me put this into perspective, right? Last season, out of 38 games, we only failed to win 10 of them. We drew 5 and lost 5 out of 38 games. So we won 28 out of 38. So only 10 games we didn't win. We've already failed to win 9 games. So we're 1 game away from being pretty much level with last season. And we're only just over the halfway mark. So there's probably going to be 15, 16 games this season that we don't win. You can't win a title.
The reason we've lost the league is not because, oh my God, look at what Arsenal might do. It's because Liverpool are not going to lose 4 games And Arsenal are not going to win those 4 games on top of the others we have to win. And that's what we're after now. Because Liverpool, let's be real, are going to beat Everton and Man United and go 11 points clear of us. That's what's going to happen, people. Yeah. So we're now going to be in a position where we're going to be 11 points behind Liverpool. And there's going to be positive gooners that are going to go, well, they could lose to us at Anfield. They could lose to Man City still. They could still lose another 2 games. Then that's it. We'll be fine. But we're not going to win 20 whatever games left. How many games are left? We're not going to win them games, are we? So we need to be realistic about that. And we need to understand that actually at the moment, the league is pretty much at the moment the last of our priorities out of all of the other competitions. In fact, what I would say, and it sounds mad, it's Tottenham, so I want to win. But if you said to me right now, if it was any other game and you had to lose one, I'd stay in the cups and lose the game in the league because we've messed the league up completely. And people will go, oh my God, the league's the most important. Only if you win it. Like real talk, bro. If you said to me, if you don't win the league, do you care where you really come? Not really. I'd like to come second and third and fourth because you get the Champions League, but I'm not going to cry if we come, oh my God, we come third, not second, like I have my heart set on. A load of rubbish. Like, let's just actually win something and get across. And I've been second and third and fourth loads of times. It didn't do me any good. I didn't feel happier when I come second than I did coming fourth, if I'm brutally honest with you, right? But I do feel happier when I'm winning something. So for me, you have to look at those. And my minimum expectation was that we won a trophy, and I didn't care what trophy it was. Yeah, I had an order of priorities, of course. But I didn't care what trophy it was, and we absolutely challenge. And I mean, we go right to the wire like we did last year, where it can actually happen on the last day. That was my minimum expectation. So that means if he wins a trophy and we are miles off it, I can understand why people would say that's not enough. If people say, oh, well, God, we come like right the way to the end and we didn't win anything, that's not enough because you haven't won anything with this team again. You haven't delivered with this team again. Honestly, man.
Yeah. I mean, where do we go from here? Because listen, the Premier League looks like it's over, right? It's as simple as that. The Prem's over. The Prem's over. Where do we go from here? How do we get something out of this season to go? It wasn't what we wanted, but we got something out of it. Do we just have to, and do you start prioritizing as well? That's the other question. Like if you've got a big league game, then a second leg of the semi-final of the Carabao Cup, can he go full strength in both of them? Or does he have to go, well, the league's kind of slipping away, but we'll get the Carabao. How do you manage the season moving forward now?
Well, look, bro, this is quite simple, this question to answer. When you're in trouble, you need some support and you need some help because it can't just all be on Mikel Arteta. The in-game management can, on the pitch, that stuff can. Where it isn't on Mikel Arteta is he needs to go and say to his owners, listen, Mr. and Mr. Best sports ownerships ever in the world in the history of anything, you need to come and support me now because I'm in trouble. Yeah. And if you believe that I'm the right man, you're going to have to back me here because I'm in serious trouble here. Don't look like the league's going to happen, which means we got to do at least one of these trophies. I've only got 3 games to get across the line for one of them. I'm in the third place position at the moment for the format of the Champions League, which we don't have to worry about until after one of the trophies could potentially be won. And then the FA Cup is quite tough with Manchester United, but we should beat them. And then after that, we might even get a Chesterfield or a Barnet or someone like that. For all we know. So at the moment, my priorities have now changed and I am not losing those cup competitions. If that means I have to lose to a Wolves away or I have to lose to a Manchester City at home, so be it. Because I'm taking that over dumping out of both of those competitions. And I mean that when I say that, by the way. People might think I'm talking rubbish. Oh, what would you rather do? Get to the Carabao Cup final and lose to Wolves or get dumped out the Carabao Cup and beat Wolves? I'm staying in the Carabao Cup 100%. And the same goes for the FA Cup. I want to beat Man United, not Wolves away. I'd rather beat Man United so we stay in the Cup, right? Champions League as well. Like, let's be real. We have to go as far as we can in that competition. In my opinion, I think we should be trying to win it. What I would say is that we're not going to do that at the moment with this current crop of players. Yeah. So Arteta and the Kroenkes and Garlic Boy and all these guys need to get together and say, we need to go and sort out Mikel Arteta now with this squad because he ain't good enough. And we need to go and be serious in the January transfer window, bro. and we've got to go and say, right, we want Marmoush and Victor Gyökeres or something like that. And people might go, you're joking, we ain't got that much money. Well, we're going to have to find it because that's the only thing that can save us right now. It ain't going and getting Semenyo, and that's it. They ain't going to do us enough. They ain't going to do enough. So we're going to have to go and get 2 attackers in January. And I don't think we're going to do that, bro. I think, if I'm honest with you, I truly believe we will get one player. And I don't think it will be a needle mover, whatever they call it. I think it's going to be like a Semenyo or maybe Brian Mbeumo or Ferguson on loan or something like that. I really do. I don't think we're serious. And that will tell me everything I need to know about the ownership.
Yeah, listen, I'm not even sure we'll spend money. I think it could be a loan player.
Jesus. What's his name?
Oh,
Jesus.
Igor Jesus.
Igor.
They're saying online that Liverpool have offered Trent 300 grand a week new contract.
Wow.
300 grand for a right back. But
what's taking them so long? Though?
Yeah, I mean,
what's crazy, bro?
78 million over 5 years. 5-year deal, 300 grand a week. That is crazy. And for those just tuned in, obviously, Cunha's signing a new contract at Wolves. So, was it Team News and Tickets? He's the guy who dresses up or he puts a Ninja Turtle picture up, don't he, when he's online? We've agreed terms with Cunha. We're close. Yeah, mate, new deal at Wolves.
He's talking rubbish, that bloke. Let me tell you that now.
Let me see. True Gunners TV said losing on Tuesday would probably actually be a blessing in disguise. No excuses. This manager needs to go by any means necessary. We're in limbo. Do you know what I said earlier on? That with this ownership, I don't even trust them to replace him. And that's not me saying for 1 second just keep him, because I don't think he's good enough. But the names that we're mentioning, I can't imagine they would go anywhere near those guys. I don't think it would be a Zidane or an Inzaghi or a Simeone. Those guys are way too outspoken and demanding. You can see what this ownership wants. They want people they can manipulate and control, and in exchange for that, they will pay you very well. So that's problem.
Why the ownership are the problem, though, bro. This is why 100%. People like yourself, me, Turkish, and Gunnar Ross, and these guys have been saying this for ages, that the ownership are the biggest problem at the club. Mikel Arteta is a problem for sure. Crikey, he's a big one in my opinion. But I think the Kroenkes are the bigger problem because this is their project. Yeah. This is their guy. And like you say, if they replaced him, they would look at the Frankfurt manager, Dino Topsopla, or somebody like that who's coming up, that's up and coming. They won't look at Diego Simeone, Simone Inzaghi, Carlo Ancelotti, Zidane. They won't look at them. Yeah, they want the upcoming. They might look at Xabi Alonso, who I'll be happy with, to be fair, but they won't look at anybody that's been proven in that. And I just think, wow, like how many of these managers have come in and surprised? Even this season, I look at Iriola at Bournemouth, what the job he's doing. I look at what Nuno's doing at Forest. I look at what we're seeing with even Maresca and Slot. And I'm thinking, oh my God, these guys have just waltzed into the job and gone boom, boom, boom. They haven't needed 5 years with a £800 million spend, processes and win the dogs, have they? I just don't get it, man.
It's absolutely crazy, man. Let me read through these. Unknown C said, honestly, I'd take an experienced winning manager over a Carabao or FA Cup at this point. Can't take another 5 years of this. Big up to you, bro. T. Dot said, Arteta does not want the name players. I do not want him to sign another bum player. We have too many players I would get rid of. I mean, that's a good point now. You know, you look at the Arsenal squad. There's a lot of players I would get rid of now, and this squad was apparently fixed. Gunnar Gary said finishing second would make a better documentary. Yeah, I'm sure they'll do another one of them. Red Dust said, I understand that winning any trophy is important, especially for the players. What I can't believe is that Arteta is the only manager capable of winning something with the talents in this team. It makes you wonder, don't it? Like, is Martinelli finished? Are these guys finished, or do they just need a different voice? We've all been in jobs before or football clubs, and new manager comes in and it brightens things up and he sees things differently. I always say with these Martinelli to me is not an old school winger that hugs the touchline and goes past people and puts crosses in. He is like an inside forward, like a striker on the left. he should be running into the penalty area. Because Martinelli's actually not a bad finisher, but he doesn't get in goal-scoring situations enough. He's constantly trying to go past one or two defenders. And listen, his dribbling, his football IQ has not been good enough. But I don't even think we're using these players in the right manner to get the best out of them, which frustrates. Is frustrating to watch.
I totally agree.
Yeah. Gibbs said for Arteta, knew he won't win anything. That's why he tried adding a community shield. Yeah, he's won a couple of dinner plates, mate. Do you know what? I'm gonna do this quickly before we go. Are you in a rush to go?
No, go on, man. Let's do it,
bro. You're good. It's funny, by the way, we've both got Omri and Burkamp behind us. History Channel FC.
There we go, man. Look, that's what I mean. But this is what we grew up on, see, and people don't realize that. People are like, "What are these two moaning for?" Like, I remember we come 8th. Well, hang on a minute. I remember where we're going on invincible, man.
Yeah, that's it. Champions League finals, invincibles. It was crazy.
Yeah.
I just wanted to quickly look at this, right? Because I want to look at this squad and just briefly go through it. Not going to take long to go through it, but when you look at it, the goalkeeper situation, let's start there. I mean, I think Raya is actually one part of the team that I can say I'm very comfortable with that now. I actually think that recruitment has worked out very well in the end. Neto, I mean, I don't know. I've got nothing to say about Norbert. Norberto. They've put the O at the end to try and make it sound Brazilian, like Norberto. You know what I mean? Davo, you know what I mean? Don't put the O on the end. His name's Norbert, fam. You know what I mean? We wanted Pedro Neto. You bought Norberto Neto. Jesus. Imagine buying a cup goalkeeper that's cup tied. It's so Arsenal, isn't it?
Honestly, man. Look, these two I'm okay with. I'm going to be unpopular, though, and say that I still believe we can actually upgrade on the goalkeeper situation. And people don't like me saying it. I said it last season and I'll say it again. I think Ray has been fantastic this season in most part, but I just don't always believe that I can fully trust David Raya. Now, I don't think he's the issue by any means, and I don't have the priorities order of, oh my God, get David Raya out. He's a disgrace. I just don't. I think my standards are so high. Yeah, I don't put him in the bracket of a David Seaman or a Jens Lehmann. I don't put him in the bracket of a Petr Cech. I don't put him in the bracket. I'm not talking about world class here in terms of like elite. I just think there are goalkeepers that I might think in a couple of years, yeah, maybe they could do the job of Raya. Now, Raya's 28, 29, so it's not like he's 21 and he's got a lot to learn. So he's going to be around for a few years, but not forever. I just think David Raya is a good player, but I don't look at him in the goalkeeper. I don't know. Look, maybe I'm being harsh because I'm tripping up myself, to be fair, because I do rate him. But I'm just kind of saying that I still think there's goalkeepers out there that could be better, but he's definitely not the problem. Neto, to be honest, I'm with you. I don't know anything about him, if I'm honest with you. I haven't seen enough from him at Bournemouth or definitely not at Arsenal. But look, I'm a fan of some of the goalkeepers out there. I like Diogo Costa. I like Michael Mannion. I think Jan Oblak has always been a good goalkeeper. I think if any of those goalkeepers are available, we should snap them up. But essentially, we're going to have a problem next summer again because Neto's going to go and we're going to either sign him on a free or wherever it is, or we're going to have to look for another goalkeeper. So the goalkeeping department is still not fixed 100%, bro.
We'll probably go back for that Juan Garcia. I think, listen, I'm with you in that. I think in an ideal world, you can upgrade Raya, but I think it will be very difficult and very expensive.
That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say. There is better keepers out there.
He's not an issue. He's not an issue, is he?
No, he's not an issue.
Did you see that save what Courtois made yesterday? That's one of the best saves I've seen in a long time. Last minute at full stretch, tips it onto the post. I was like, oh my God. But Raya I think is not an issue for now. But I still don't think he's a world-class goalkeeper.
Okay, what I should have done was let you have this segment because you've said it so much better than I have. That's what's he's not world-class. Yeah, he's not world class. There are better goalkeepers out there, but he's not the issue at the moment. There we go.
He's nowhere near the issue.
We can both agree on that.
We can agree on that. I mean, when you go into the defense, some of these guys, I mean, obviously Saliba, Tierney's, they ain't even give him a picture in the new kit. He's actually being treated. He's being treated like an absolute scrub. This guy. Hey, Mikel, shall I take a picture in the new kit? Yeah, don't bother, mate. We'll Photoshop one from last season. Now go and get me a cup of tea with milk and sugar. No respect. Even the background's different, bro. What the hell? Tierney, man, leave.
Do you
I
know
want
what? Do
Tierney
you know
at
what?
Celtic,
Right, I
man.
see. When I went to it was the Crystal Palace game where Tierney first coming back into it. You know, when they
Yeah.
announced it and they show it on the screens at the Emirates, he just came up as number 3. There was no picture at all. It's like this guy's been with us for what, 5 seasons, and we don't have a photo of him. Like it's just a joke. Eh?
They don't even know who he is. They're like, what? Who's this guy? It's sad, man. Tierney, please just go to Celtic and enjoy
He's got
yourself,
to, man. He's been treated so bad, hasn't he? He's been
so
treated
bad. He must genuinely sit there and think, I still think I'm a better left back than these guys they're playing.
Because he is.
But because he can't invert, he's finished.
Mate, honestly, I've seen, I said this earlier, I've seen a really good couple of consistent performances from Kieran Tierney and Miles Lewis-Skelly this season at left back. And they were the two that were already here. We've actually bought Calafiori, Zinchenko, Kivior, played Timber there, played other people there. Nun Tavares was another one we played there. And none of those have cut the mustard. But these two kids look like they're half decent with it. Zinchenko's another one. Honestly, mate, I'm sick
Crazy.
of it. That is a joke. That's our official website, right?
Yeah. Man's wearing last season's kit, bro, with a different background. He's on the bench. You'd think they'd go, Kieran, let me just take a quick picture of you in the new kit. It's crazy. Obviously, Saliba, I mean, we're just hoping he's pointing at the badge. Let's hope he's pointing at that same badge next season. You know what I mean? Ben White, do you think Ben White gets back in the Arsenal team when he's fit, or do you think he's pushed out now, or is he rotated? What do you think with Ben White?
I'd start him because I think Timber has to go left back because Calafiori is not my cup of tea. So I'll be playing Ben White right back and Timber left back. I think we've kept the most clean sheets this season when that back four played.
I think he's back at the end of January, they said.
Oh, really?
Yeah, apparently, yeah. Gabriel, I mean, I think it's self-explanatory. Timber as well. Them two have been brilliant. I mean, this guy, I just don't even understand. I don't understand. Surely he goes this month. That signing for me, because when we sign players sometimes, it's like they sign, they exist at the club and they leave. And there's no discussion around, why did we sign him? Why did we pay so much money? What was the plan? Like Fabio Vieira cost 35 mil. The guy's on loan at Porto and not doing much there either.
And then no one's allowed to say that he's a bad signing. Like some of these signings we made. Kivior's another one, bro. He was £20 million as a 20-year-old or 19-year-old who Lewandowski said he looked good in the Euros with me. And then all of a sudden we're snapping him up. The guy, I mean, I've seen him. I think Mertesacker quicker than him, isn't he? It's like, it's crazy how ridiculous this guy, he's just been poor, I think. He came in and did a couple of jobs at left back, didn't he, last season, but it was never quite good enough. And every time I see him now, he's got a mistake in him. You just can't rely on players like that. So I think he needs to go, man. And if I'm honest, I would sell him this January if there is takers. The problem we got is how many of these defenders do we actually want to get rid of? And how many do we want to keep? Because we've got about 15 of them, but there's probably more I'd want to get rid of than keep.
Yeah. Kivior's been a terrible signing. I mean, again, centre-back, you're trying to put him in at left-back. Stupid. Just buy a left-back. You said it. I mean, this row is, oh, God.
That's dire, isn't it?
That is bad. You know what I mean? This guy I'm just not convinced by yet, but, you know, I might give him a chance. This guy, I mean, he should be on a milk carton because he's missing. I don't know where he is. Like, who is that number 18? Didn't he have blonde hair the last time we saw him? Who is he? Where is he?
How did he got a kit and Kit Tierney ain't? How did he get a kit?
You know what I mean? And Mikel's like, he's injured. He'll be out for a while. Like, how long is a while, bro? Because that's been like 6 months now. We ain't seen this guy. What the hell? This guy got a new deal and then just got injured and disappeared.
Bro, it's 6 minutes of football, man. He come on against Southampton. He was ready. 6. Oh, my leg's gone again. I better get back. What's happening here? This guy said he was a few weeks. And then months go by and he's still a few weeks away. Even I think yesterday in his press conference, he said that Tomiyasu's looking to get back on the grass soon. I mean, my God.
Yeah.
Maybe he means the weed or something. Maybe he's a weed smoker or something. Maybe that's what he
Maybe
means.
he's in Amsterdam, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's sad, you know, because he's a very good cover player, versatile, but you've got to try and the problem is, how do you sell an injury prone player on 100 grand a week?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who would buy him?
Tommy Glassu, someone's put him in. That's
Tommy
brilliant.
Glasser.
Tommy
Yeah.
Glassu. Yeah, that is
Yeah.
what he is, mate. And look, these two need to go. Zinchenko and Tomiyasu need to go. Maybe I'm harsh on Calafiori because he's just settling in. I've not seen enough
Yeah.
to go wow yet, but I don't think he's a shambles by any means. Zinchenko and Tomiyasu need to both get the hell out of here. Kieran Tierney, it's not get the hell out. It's get the hell out for your own safety. Do you know what I mean? Whereas two, they need to get out for our safety because they are, I mean, like, you're not going to see him, are we? Like, let's be real. Zinchenko has been a bad signing, if I'm honest.
Because
he's cost us in the last 2 seasons games that I can't remember how many times this guy has cost us at left back. You know, in Anfield, we're 2-0 up and we threw away 2-goal lead. He brings on Tierney too late. Zinchenko gets nuts by Trent and it's 2-2. He last season was responsible for the goals against Wolves, Fulham, and there was another one. Oh, it was Salah at Anfield. He just skipped past him again and put it in like he always does. So he's got to go. Tomiyasu's too injury prone. If he wasn't, Curtis, I'd keep Tomiyasu. If Tomiyasu, you know, was like Saka's durability, I'd keep him. I think he'd be phenomenal. But he's just, it ain't for me, man. So these three, I think 2 of them have got to do one.
Yeah, Zinny's definitely got to go. I mean, you know which one I would sell on that page.
Yeah, look, I'm with you. If we had to sell one, I think Jorginho is the guy that a lot of people would. I think Jorginho, if we bought nobody, you'd have to keep them, right? But if you buy another midfielder and one has to go, it will be Jorginho because Partey's been better. And that's what it is. Look, Jorginho is actually, you know, people laugh at it and go, what a deflating signing. It was a deflating signing because of who we were linked with. But if we wouldn't have been linked with Caicedo and we just said, look, we're bringing in Jorginho for 12 million, I still would have been deflated, but at least I would have appreciated that it's better than no one and he's come in and done a job. But I don't want people to come in and do a job. I want people to look. Can you imagine if we actually had some balls and we would have bought Caicedo one January and Rice in the summer? And we'd have Rice, Caicedo, and Ødegaard as our midfield trio, which is one of the best in Europe. That's what it should be.
And Partey as well.
Partey is backup. This is what we should be looking at here. But we have an ownership that says, "Oh no, you don't. Could you go and get that Brazilian lad who's 33 from Chelsea for 12 million instead, please?" Yeah, all right. Give El Neni another year. Yeah, all right.
No, and that's the thing. I always think sometimes Arsenal hang on to players for too long. Like, Jorginho's been a steady player and he's experienced, but now surely you've got. He's just not. You saw it today. His legs have gone. His legs were gone anyway, but at least he was good on the ball. I just think. And he's on good money as well. He's on like 120 as well. But anyway, I mean, oh dear. I mean, I'm saying oh dear here for 2 different reasons. One, because you're actually a player I really like, but the manager's sabotaging your career. And the other one, I just don't. You know, the Marino signing absolutely baffles me. That's probably the most confusing deal of the summer for me. Raheem Sterling was just a panic buy, and you tried to appease the fans. You got it all wrong. Calafiori, you thought a lot of clubs want him. He's a left back, centre back. He's young. But Marino, I mean, people say he looks like Sharoy. He's playing like Sharoy. That's the problem. He might be the slowest midfielder I have ever seen at Arsenal. He's got 70 pace on EAFC FIFA. They've gone crazy. Does he ever run? And they go, what did they say the other day about him attacking the penalty area and he crashes into the box and stuff, you know? He's a box crasher, they said. When the ball gets played in, you know, he comes in and this guy, I'm sorry, I've watched midfielders for a long time at Arsenal. This guy is not it. This guy had a year left on his deal at 50 grand a week at Sociedad. We give him 100 grand, 4 years, and paid 30+ million for him.
Bro, if he's a box crasher, then get him to the recycling centre because that's the only boxes he can crash. I'll tell you this now. He is an absolute disaster. I've not been a fan of this lad. I've got to be honest. I really don't get what people are supposed to have seen. Spanish McTominay, they're calling him. Look, I don't feel there's any of the attributes I've seen that I'm a huge fan of, if I'm honest with you. I think there's been presence, which is the only thing I can say, but we've got enough of that in our team. They're all over 6 foot. Most of them tower over everyone. Aerial ability, but let's be real, he's got one header, I think, and that's it. And I'm not really seeing much else from him. He's picked up some of his performances, but he's never really been over a 7 or 8 out of 10, and that's when he's played amazing. Do you know what I mean? Played well. He hasn't never played amazing. I'm just really disappointed that we're still looking at replacing Granit Xhaka 2 seasons on. And Granit Xhaka is one of the worst midfielders that we've had in the last 2 or 3 decades, in my opinion. I thought he was brilliant for about 18 months, and that was it in the 7 years we had him. And we still can't replace him. We're not trying to replace Vieira here. We're trying to upgrade on Granit Xhaka, and we can't do it. Why is it so hard? And I'm looking at players that have been available that have gone to other clubs thinking, why didn't we go and get Bruno Guimaraes when he was available at Lyon? You know, we were linked with him. Edu said we were going to go and get him. Why haven't we looked at some of the other midfielders over the last few years that have been going in and around Jude Bellingham when he went to Dortmund? And why didn't we go and try and get somebody like a Frankie de Jong maybe when he was at Barcelona with question marks? Why have we not been able to do that? I just don't get it personally, but we haven't. And we're now stuck with him. And I think, is he the one that's going to take us across the line? I don't look at Marino and see any agility. The turning circles of a Land Rover. He's so slow. He's sideways and backwards passing. He doesn't drive us forward on the ball. He wants to release the ball as soon as he gets it, which is great in some moments of the play, but it's not all you need. And we are literally looking at him to just, when it's a corner, is Marino up there? Oh, yeah. Oh, he's missed it again. But at least he's tall. He might get it over there once. And I want that man in my midfield. That's not what I want. This guy's a squad player.
Yeah, at best, yeah. We
So
basically paid 35 million. Paid 35 million to replace El Neni.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we've done. We've spent 30 million pounds on a player that we might as well have just kept El Neni on a free for. I see this. We linked with Joe Bellingham and what's the name? Chris Hudson texts me. I mean, is this for real? I mean, he looks an all right player, but that's not going to do anything, is it? Is Joe Bellingham not what we need to get us across the next level? Do we think? I mean, like, I don't know what's going on at this club, man. Honestly, I'm getting sick and tired of it. It's like a comedy event, isn't it? Some of it, you know what I mean?
Do you know what they're doing, don't you? Right? Because Arsenal backed out of the deal to sign Jude Bellingham.
Yeah,
we were going to sign Jude Bellingham from Birmingham, right? And we refused to pay the 15 million because he was 16. And they thought it was too much for a guy of that age. He goes to Dortmund, and obviously what happens. So they've probably sat there and gone, "Oh, we made a mistake with Jude. Let's get Joe Bellingham in case he becomes the next." He ain't nowhere near as good as Jude Bellingham. I've watched him play as well.
You know what I mean? He's nothing like him.
He's nowhere near as good as his brother.
Nah, there's nothing like him. He's look. I don't know enough about what he's doing at Sunderland. I hear he's doing good things and he looks quite nice on the ball. But let's just be real. You don't say, "Oh, your brother's half decent." Are you any good? Are you as good as him? Do you know what I mean? Like, come on, man. It's crazy, isn't it? Are we like lining up for like Kylian Mbappe's brother or something? Is he going to come off? This is a nonsense rumor, I think. Let's be real.
We wanted Luis Suarez, we got Dennis Suarez. We wanted Pedro Neto, we got Norbert Neto. Now we're going to get Joe Bellingham instead of Jude Bellingham. I mean, just please give us it's early in the year and you're trying to buy Jude Bellingham's little brother who plays for Sunderland because you know you can market the name and his brother might come and watch the odd game.
It's the biggest PR thing ever. It'll be so Arsenal that we got Bellingham to Arsenal. That's what it'll be.
Oh, Jude's in the stand watching his brother. We'll get him on the pitch and do me a favour.
Honestly.
Let's go through this quick anyway. Again, this picture, it hurts for 3 different reasons. I suppose. I don't know. I mean, Saka is literally heartbreaking, injured. We may never see him again.
Oh,
and then the other 2, I mean, I just don't know what to even... let me ask you this question, and ask the community this question as well. what would you do with those two players? Let's say in the summer. I don't think either one of them move in January. I think Gabriel Jesus, despite his little purple patch that lasted about 10 days, his time feels like it's up. Martinelli, are you keeping him to see if something changes, a different style, a different manager, a different system? Would you move him on? What's your thoughts on Jesus and Martinelli?
So I'm keeping Saka, which is a no-brainer. And then I'm going to
Yeah.
be selling Jesus back to Brazil or Saudi Arabia. Allow him to go and get contracts he wants. You're not part of my plans. You've been great for 3 years. See you later, even though he hasn't. Gabriel Martinelli, I mean, I'd get him a sunbed first thing. I mean, what is happening with him there? He's the palest I've ever seen him. Like, what is happening? He don't look well there, does he? So, yeah, he needs a sunbed, mate. Look at him. He's whiter than me. He needs a bit of sunbed. I hate to say this, but I am going to say it. I would sell him. Because I actually think now we've still got a chance of getting some money. And I hate saying that because I love the kid and I loved him when he first come through. Thought he was going to be special talent. Look, Jesus, we're not going to get much money for. Let's just be real. We're probably going to struggle to get 25, 30 million for Gabriel Jesus if we're being realistic about it. As for Gabriel Martinelli, I don't think we're going to get anywhere near 70 or 80 million like we would some of the other players around that level. But I do think that if something was to come in close to that, I think we need to be realistic about the opportunity of him leaving. We've got to remember that Gabriel Martinelli is not actually a Mikel Arteta signing.
Yeah.
And he's also obsessed about this left wing position. He's wanted Mudryk, he got Trossard. He wanted Nico Williams, he ended up keeping Martinelli and Trossard. He wants a left forward. He keeps being linked with Nico Williams again, and we've been linked with Marmoush and Cunha and all these wingers, Kudus. I think he wants a winger, and one of them's going to have to go. And I don't think it's going to be Trossard and Saka, because Trossard's kind of at that age where you're not really going to get much money for him if he does go. He's 30 now, I think. Gabriel Martinelli is the one that I think we're going to have to look to sell. So yeah, I feel like there's an opportunity for us to look at Martinelli as I don't know where he'd go. I don't know. I think there would be clubs that would take a punt on him though, because at 23 years old, they're going to say we can get something out of this lad. I actually do think that if he went to Liverpool, I think his system there would be fantastic. Not that I want him to go there. Barcelona abroad, if he went to a PSG, if he went to clubs like that, I think that he could actually flourish in some of those teams. He might not get into the first team to start with, but I think he could easily be a player that could 100% flourish at another side. So that's what I do. Keep Saka, sell both of Jesus and Martinelli in the summer, which is sad, but I think we're going to have to be ruthless.
Yeah, I think I think PSG, I could see someone like that. Liverpool, Gakpo and Diaz, I think that he wouldn't get anywhere near that. I know Klopp liked him, didn't he? He used to say a lot about him. But
I think that system,
it'd be interesting. I've always had this feeling with Martinelli, though. Even though he's playing bad, he's like, oh my God, the page below. Oh, I need to scroll back up. That was scary. I've always had this feeling with Martinelli, like Martinelli would go somewhere else and do well. I don't know why. Maybe I'm clutching at straws, but yeah, Villa would be interesting. They don't really have an out-and-out left winger. You know, they got Bailey on the right. Watkins only ran through the middle. They often play McGinn out there.
Well, they give us Duran, we'll give him Martinelli. There you go.
Oh, yeah, I'd do that. I'd definitely do that. I mean, we're getting into, this. Oh, God.
Oh, my word. These lines
they're getting worse. I mean, I
forgot about this, lad.
Last time I saw him, he was crying his eyes out, I think, in the Europa League. I mean, I'll let Marquinhos off because we don't even really. But, I mean, oh, dear. I mean, it's the donkey out of Shrek. He's back. This signing haunts me as an Arsenal fan. It haunts me.
Same.
Honestly. Like, imagine Chelsea pays 75 million for him to play attacking midfield. And after 2 years of failing, you can say the Champions League final goal. They throw him up front, just one last chance, and it doesn't work. They're out of ideas. They're done. They're going to get rid of him. He's on massive wages. And we come rolling into town. We'll take him off your hands. We'll pay him the whole 275. And we'll give you £65 million for him. I said this earlier. We paid 72 million for Pepe and sold him for 3 million. £3 million to Trabzonspor. They got 10 million less than what they paid for him. They paid 75, got 65 back, and got 275 off their wage bill. How are we in this position? I didn't want him under any circumstances, but if you'd have turned up and said, yo, you've signed Havertz for 35 million, I'd have gone, I don't want him, but for 35 million, you'll take a punt and see if you can get the Leverkusen Havertz back. Do you know what I mean? But for 65 million, I think that's our third highest transfer after Declan Rice, Pepe, and it's level with Aubameyang at 65 million. Third highest transfer in the club's history. And the problem is, I always say, when you sign a player, you've got to have an escape plan. You've got to have a way that, if that doesn't work, where can you get him? I don't see Havertz leaving Arsenal for a long time. The
reason he's not going to leave is because nobody will want him, and nobody's paying him 350k a week, which is the move that he'd want or the contract that he'd want.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real. That trio, as much as I love Leandro Trossard's.
No, bro, look at this. Look at this. January sales. Honestly, get the sales stickers out and just stamp all their foreheads, man. You buy Trossard, you can get Sterling for free. You know what I mean? Take Havertz.
You know what? If I said to you, bruv, you asked me a question, say, listen, Dan, do me a favor, bro. Can you send me a screenshot of what Arsenal's going to look like in the next 5 years in 2019? And I sent you that.
Yeah, Havertz will be your highest paid player. You'd go, no, mate, you've been drinking.
If I said to you, we're going to have Trossard, Marquinhos, Havertz, and Sterling in 2019, you would have gone, oh, Sterling, yeah, but he's going to be 29 and hadn't scored a goal properly since 2019. Oh, right. Kai's going to be 65 million, and it ain't the Kai from Bayer Leverkusen. Marquinhos, we could have got him for free, but we paid 3 million for good relations. And Trossard's come from Brighton and has fallen off a cliff in his last season. You'd have been like, what's happening here? Oh, and by the way,
Marquinhos, I'd be like, what is it? Is it the Marquinhos, the centre back from PSG?
Yeah.
Oh no, it's the winger who they gave us, and we paid money for him.
It's a joke, bro. Look at these four at our club.
Hey, but listen, by the way, I just want to say, he's fixed the squad, though. He has fixed the squad.
Apparently,
when you look at this squad,
fixed. Christ,
what's going on down? Look at this, look at these.
No, we still can't get rid of these players. I mean, Nuno's rid of Tavares and Lokonga. We still can't get rid of them. No one wants them.
What's going on here? Nuno's actually obligation.
He's done well though, Tavares, hasn't he? He's actually playing all right. But
he's got that
Vieira signing. I mean, God, he looks like the geezer from Prison Break, doesn't he? What was his name? You know, the villain, Teabag. That's him. He is absolutely terrible. Let's just be real. That was one of the worst. I think that's his worst signing, funnily enough. I do actually think that's what it is. Because that was nearly 40 million euros, that is absolutely shambolic. This Cole
money laundering, bro.
Bro, this Cole Hein has been here for about 12 years. And I don't know how old he is now, but he still ain't good enough.
Dubai Cup legend, mate. You know, I'll never forget that Dubai
Cup. Yeah, mate. I ain't seen him since then. Lokonga, I never rated. That was a bizarre signing. I never quite understood that one. And Reece Nelson, I love Reece, but let's just be real. I'd rather actually have Reece than Sterling. I would. Real talk. I'd rather have Reece Nelson than Sterling. But he just needs to find a club and go and try and revive his career. Fabio Vieira, I just can't believe we've bought someone and scouted someone that we think is strong enough for this league. He can't get through without getting pushed over the ball. I couldn't believe when I was watching this guy. I just thought this guy's never going to toughen up for this league. And how can I see that? And I'm not a scout, you know. I certainly wouldn't have paid 40 million for him. That's bloody sure, right? So look, all of those guys are leaving. Like none of them are coming back.
The problem you might have, because I'm making a video about the loan watch, but I was looking at this, and Fabio Vieira is struggling at Porto. There's no obligation to buy him. Reece Nelson's pulled his hamstring out for 10 weeks, and there's no obligation to buy him. So I think those two will be back at Arsenal pre-season. Apparently,
I don't think Lokonga's got a obligation, has he? An option?
It's an option. The only thing I would say, apparently Sambi's doing all right. He's in the Belgium squad again, and he's starting at the moment for Sevilla. Tavares doing well. I think he's got like 8 assists, and that's an obligation. Karl Heinz at I think Valladolid in Spain. So I would expect Vieira and Nelson definitely to be back. Maybe Karl Heinz, but yeah, I mean, when you look at that squad and you think about the money and the time, it's nowhere near good enough, is it? For what we should have. Apart, really, if you're looking at Saliba, Gabriel, Timber, Ben White, Odegaard, Rice, Partey, Saka as the ones where you're like, we would go with them. I think you would sell about 7 or 8 players out of that squad. Zinchenko, Jesus, Havertz, Fabio Vieira. How come we're still trying to sell so many players?
Yeah. And I asked yesterday on my channel, how many players do we still need? No one said 2 or 3. They all said 5 or 6. And that's without the players who've still got to let go. I mean, we've just gone through there now, the squad, and we're all like, yeah, get rid of him, get rid of him, get rid of him, And that's what I said earlier. When I look at the Arteta and Edu signings, it's not half and half. It's like probably 75% of them have been naff and 25 have worked. That's what I would say, And some of them have been great. Odegaard, Gabriel, I think Declan Rice, although he's trying to do his best to ruin him now. Some of them have just been absolutely abysmal. I mean, all of the goalkeepers, most of the left backs, definitely some of the midfielders, and most of the attack. I don't look at it and think, wow, it's just mad.
Oh, we're top of a league, Dan. Don't worry. Most cards for time wasting in the Premier League, 9.
What has that Dark Arts done then? What has this Dark Arts actually achieved? What is it? What have we done here? Because all we've done is get people
top of the league. We're top of the league.
It's got us the most cards. It's got us sent off 4 times in games, whatever it is. It's got us like taking 4 hours to take a corner. What has this Dark Arts actually achieved? I just honestly, mate, I do not understand it. It's absolute. And look at the teams we're with. It's not like we're with Liverpool City and all that. We're with Bournemouth, Chelsea, Newcastle, Everton. It is pathetic.
I mean, listen, I completely understand Everton, mate. You're fighting for relegation.
Yeah.
You got to waste some time to nick a point. I respect it, Sean Dyche. But we're challenging for a league. We're time wasting, getting players booked. Timbers was for time wasting the other day, wasn't it? That got him suspended.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. What's mad is there'll be gooners there crying about this, saying this. Look, there's corruption. They hate us. All the refs.
They hate us. Yeah. I mean, Dan, listen. I'm going to round up. We've been live for 2 hours 11 minutes. Still 2.5K in it. We were at 3K at one point. Make sure you subscribe to Dan's channel. Make sure you like this video. Subscribe over here as well. I'm going to finish off with this question. Right? I always end Arsenal therapy with the solution moving forward. Short term and long term. By short term, the next few weeks, month, January transfer window, the next few games. Long term, looking at maybe the summer and beyond. What are the 2 things that you think need to happen and can realistically happen moving forward?
The short term, I think we need to look at this transfer window now that's open. We're in a position, mate, where we have got some bad injuries at the moment, one of them to one of our best players in Saka, but it's happened at the right time. Now, it never can happen at the right time, but you get what I'm saying there. The reason it's happened at the right time is because it's happened when the transfer window's open. If that would have happened in, let's say, August, or it would have happened in March, we'd be frustrated as hell. So for the short term, we have to go and get that sorted in January. That's the absolute bare minimum that we have to do. And I also add to that, you said 2 things. I think Mikel Arteta's got to go back to actually playing his best players in the best positions, because I'm getting sick and tired of watching Timber play at right back, then he's back to left back, Partey at midfield, then he's back to right midfield. Then we've got Ethan Nwaneri coming on, but he's now on the right wing. You've got up top, you've got Havertz then been dropped back into the middle. I'm sick of it. It's too much mucking around. Declan Rice playing in the 8, not the 6. Let's actually play our best players in our best positions. And actually, we might win some football matches, yeah? So that's what I think we should do in the short term. Long term is a different question, mate, if I'm honest with you, because I just think me and you definitely, but as a fan base, I think our expectations are different to the ownership. So I think long term is going to be hard to answer, man.
Yeah. No, I get you. There's a lot of ifs, buts, and maybes when it comes to the long term, man. Do you know what? The biggest thing that I want right out of this season is I want more of the fan base to be aligned with what they want from the club. We don't have to get along. We don't have to be the get along guy. Half this Arsenal fan base just don't get along with each other for some reason because they can't take difference of opinion, which is crazy. But the fans have to be on the same pathway that this club can do more than what it's doing, and don't just accept everything that they feed to us. If you'd have said to most Arsenal fans 2 years ago, do you rate Kai Havertz? They'd say, I think he's rubbish. The day he signed for Arsenal, they all suddenly said, oh, but put the Leverkusen clips out. You know what I mean? We don't have to pretend. It's all right to say I don't rate a player or I don't rate a manager or, Thierry Henry's got a different opinion on Arteta, so they start disrespecting the greatest player we've probably ever seen play for us. That's where we're at now as a fan base. So I hope that happens, but will it? Who knows? Probably not. Let me read out this final super chat. Joba said 21 years without a Prem, 31 years without a League Cup, 5 without an FA Cup, never won the Champions League, but got a dog and named it Win. Madrid's of PR, dark arts to drop points, inverted players, and a snot-filled captain.
Preach it, brother. That's the best super chat of the night, man. Best super chat. Anyone that wants to get down some realism and actually look at where we're at, read that super chat, yeah? Because I don't care so much about bloody dogs and win dogs and the snot-known captain, right? I look at where we're at. 21 years without a Premier League, 31 years without a League Cup, 5 without an FA Cup, 30 without a European trophy, which is one we've forgotten, by the way. Never won a Champions League, but we get a dog and call it Win. And we paint pictures under on a tunnel of Kroenkes. There's no. By the way, that tunnel that I go down every single game, it ain't got Rocky, it ain't got Righty, it ain't got Thierry, it ain't got Dennis. It's got Nicholas Jova, Josh Kroenke, and Win the Dog. Let's be real. Havertz with Win the Dog. Yeah. Are we for real? Have we forgotten about our history? It's a disgrace, mate. The PR at this club. And what will happen? And we're now walking out in baseball coats, by the way, every time that we play games because everyone can buy them for $160 a pop. Yeah. And we need to actually we'll drop another bit of merch soon. If we go out one of them cups, we'll drop another shirt, mate. 100%. We will. Definitely, man. Newcastle on Tuesday. Are you going? I'll be there, bro. I'll be there, and I want to win. And I think we should be able to win because we got to. And I think that's the way it is, bruv. It's just the way I see it. I just hate having the thought of going out of another cup under Mikel Arteta because, he has disrespected them. I'm not going to say he's disrespected them this season yet, but I hope that he doesn't. I hope that he doesn't because his job should depend on it. If I was the owner, mate, he'd hate me. He wouldn't be calling me the best owner in football. He'd be absolutely, he'd hate me. I'd tell you that now. That's why I can't go in these press conferences and ask him questions. I'd get kicked out, bruv. I would. I'd ask him stuff. They're not easy. Honestly, I tell you, they're not easy because people have seen me ask questions and go, oh, why didn't you ask him this? Like, it doesn't work like that. There's a lot of structure to what you go in there. They're asking you what you want to say. Don't talk about this. Don't mention that. If you mention that, we'll cut that out the press conference. It's very, very, it's not how it appears. You know what I mean? It really isn't. You can't, if you say something. Why haven't you bought a striker in 5 years? They wouldn't let me answer that, you see. This is the problem. I wouldn't be able to do it, man. I wouldn't be able to do it. And this is what I never got into when people said to me about, why don't you get more into like the journalist side? I think, nah, it ain't for me. It just ain't, because I say what I see. I'm not one of these fake people that's like, oh, now that I'm in the press box, I better say how great the Kroenkes are doing and how brilliant Mikel's done since he's got here. I couldn't do all that, mate. I've got to say what I believe. You know what I mean? I'm just not in for all that sort of stuff. I'd end up falling out of it because I want to win. I don't really care about who the manager is, Curtis. A lot of people do. I couldn't give a damn. I'm not sentimental to the manager. That's why I wasn't crying when Arsene Wenger left, and I wasn't bawling my eyes out when Emery got sacked. I want to win. And if the managers are winning, I'll be happy with them. And if they're not, I'm not. And I do believe there's a lot more Mikel Arteta fans than there are Arsenal fans here. It's absolutely mad. Yeah. No, listen, it's one of them. I think now it's a rescue mission. Tuesday needs to be the beginning of a rescue mission.
the league's gone, but you've got to put some silverware on the table, get top 4, and get somebody in January in the short term. I think that's what we've got to do. But listen, Dan, thank you very much for coming on and giving up your time. I honestly had no plans to do a live for this long, but there was so much to talk about. It felt necessary. So big up yourself, bro. And you got anything coming up tomorrow or Monday you want to plug on the channel?
So I'll be tomorrow. I'll be live in my evening show. This is London. It's mad because the panel that I've got on, everybody's dropped points. We've got a West Ham fan, Lawless. He lost to Man City. Deji Spurs. They lost to Newcastle. We drew to Brighton. Chelsea drew to Palace. And Dee and Don are both Chelsea and Palace fans. So it's like going to be mad. So tomorrow night will be absolutely mental. That's at 7 o'clock tomorrow. But yeah, if you can come over and try and get me to 30K, I'm well close, people. So that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. And Curtis, it's always a pleasure coming on with you, bro.
Big up, bro. And we'll probably be on your show next week, later in the week. So yeah, look out for that. Peeps, 100%. I'll be back tomorrow for United Liverpool. I don't really want to, but we'll be there just in case. I think it will be a slaughtering anyway. So that will definitely end our title hopes. But big up to everyone locked in. Hit the like button and subscribe. I'll see you all tomorrow.